Reporting live in Malden, Jennifer Reddy, WYFF News 4.
Thank you, Jennifer. I want to get right back to live Super Doppler 4 HD. Jennifer, you're safe where you're at in Malden, but there is an active tornado warning now for Greenville County, the northern side now. Okay, we're talking Travelers Rest. We're talking really downtown Greenville northbound. It does include Pickens County and the northeastern tip of Anderson County. So watching this closely here, an active tornado warning until 6 p.m. right now for Greenville, Pickens, and Anderson County. Let's get in closer right now, show you this line. We've been watching it with a close eye and the squiggly nature to it. I know that may not be a scientific word, but hey, I'm using it because this is what it's doing right now. As part of that line is trying to outrun other parts of the line, and that's causing, with the rotation that we have in the atmosphere, to give us the possibility of a tornado. So let's look specifically at the rotation in this. You got some of it showing up towards Caesar's Head, but let's look at our wind speeds right now as this approaches Greenville County, because we've got that rotation here across parts of Greenville and Pickens County. Now the part of this storm that's the most concerning is right over Easley, right in here. So watching this activity as it crosses the Saluda. You need to be seeking shelter right now in Greenville County. A new scan coming through right now as we take a close look at this. There's the Saluda River. This crosses into Greenville County. So Berea, part of this area as it moves on through Marietta, Slater. Looks like if this continues on its same path, we'll put it in motion right now to be able to see the trajectory of this rotation. Kind of ramped up right in here in eastern Pickens County. So it looks like it's going to go north into the northwestern quadrant of Greenville County. So downtown Greenville, I think you're safe. Really, Paris Mountain north and westbound will be where this would happen. So Highway 25 from the hospitals, basically northbound up through Whitehorse Road, up through parts of Berea, Slater, Marietta, even parts of Travelers Rest need to be seeking shelter right now because of this rotation that's moving on through. We'll zoom in here and show you where this rotation is going, and it looks like we got a new tornado warning just popped up for southern Greenville County. This includes Abbeville, Greenville, Greenwood, and Lawrence County. So now we have two active tornado warnings on the board right now. This active tornado possible southwest of Hodges. So we've got this one here across Greenville County that we're watching that's in Pickens, moving eastbound. We've got another one that's farther south toward Greenwood and parts of Greenville County, and that's pushing off toward the northwest at about northeast rather at about 5 miles per hour. So watching Greenville County closely here as it moves on through these areas as this is pushing up toward the north. So this rotation here is one to watch for Travelers Rest, Latham, Crossville, Vineland, and then Richmond Hills and parts of 533 here. So watching that closely, we got that new warning down toward the south here. We'll click on right here and you see the other tornado warning that's in Greenwood County. So two separate cells. What happened here is this one got caught off from the line, and I make that 3 tornado warnings. So we have 3 active areas that are now under the gun here for tornadoes. So let's start with this activity down toward the south. We got this cell that's rotating here in Greenwood County. So just starting fresh, 3 possible tornadoes on the ground in the upstate right now. The first one in Greenwood County, the southern part near Kirksey, Troy, that is moving toward the northeast toward the lake. You need to be seeking shelter. That one moving at 30 miles per hour. Let's give you a track on this one right here. We'll start from the bottom and work our way up. This is heading toward uptown Greenwood, and this is heading up toward Lake Greenwood, and we'll cross into Promised Land at 516, Greenwood at 527, Cokesbury at 541, and then Waterloo at 552. So an active tornado warning, possible tornado on the ground heading toward uptown Greenwood. I need my friends in Greenwood to seek shelter right now. This is a dangerous storm that has shown some signs of some rotation. We've also got this hook right in here, just northwest of there. That's a separate cell that could produce a tornado. This in Abbeville County. This located 6 miles northeast of Abbeville and about 4 miles southwest of Hodges. This is moving into Lawrence County and Greenville County as well. We'll put a track on this activity as it moves up toward the north and follow it into really Greenville County and Lawrence County. So due west 515, Ware Shoals 531, and then Princeton at 540, Duncan Township at about 550. Now looking up toward the north here, we've still got this warning here that was originally issued issued for Greenville County. This includes Travelers Rest. You're hearing the sirens go off at the fire department there in Travelers Rest. Really downtown Greenville up through Cherrydale. This is the concern here is this line's moving north. Notice how our polygons have shifted. Earlier they were more oriented like this, going northeast. Now we're starting to see the core of Fred really get over our area. And as I mentioned, this line right here is kind of the last hurrah, the last feisty line that Fred has for us tonight. And we'll watch it closely because it's certainly proving to be true here with some dangerous weather. So I want you in your safe place in Travelers Rest, Slater, Marietta, toward the hospitals, both Bon Secours, down toward Greenville. We want you in your safe place over toward Pelham, Easley, up toward Pickens. Please get to your safe place right now. We really want you to be safe during this possible tornado. We've got this line that's about to cross the Saluda, and as we look specifically at our wind speeds right now, watching for that potential spin up right in here as this activity is kind of twofold. We got two areas, I think, Sydney, that are rotating. We'll first map out this. It's very near our Doppler site as it moves up toward the north and east. Watching that closely for Greenville. That one might get close to Cherrydale and Paris Mountain. So mapping out this one right here as it moves up toward the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So Crosswell, Berea, and then Paladin Stadium there at Furman at about 540. Then we've got this rotation that's back north of Easley. This is going to go into a different area here as it moves up toward the north and east. This will go to the northern side of Travelers Rest. So Dacusville, Slater Marietta Elementary School, Slater by 533, and then Cleveland by 536. Let's check out the velocity in some of this down toward the south. And we're getting some more storm damage from earlier. And yeah, look at that bright spot right there in Abbeville County. We'll start with this one here as it moves towards you folks in Ware Shoals. I know there's two tornado warnings right here, so it can be a little bit deceiving as to what is what, but we'll map it out here for you. Shiloh School, Walnut Grove Church, and then Regal Stadium at about 535. Ware Shoals at about 535 too. I want you to be in your safe spot right now. This does show some pronounced rotation. That bright green flare up right there indicates that we've got some rotation pretty pronounced here in Abbeville County, about to cross into Greenwood County and then eventually Lawrence County. This warning also triggered Greenville County because it's very close to that line. You got so many counties here back to back. So there's that cell pushing into Greenwood. Got a new scan coming in here as we look at it closely right in there. And yet we still got that red and green kind of meeting up. It looks like it's right on the Abbeville Greenwood County line just south of Donalds, very near Ware Shoals right now. So please seek shelter there as this is moving up toward the north at about 30 miles per hour. Also have this cell right here in southern Greenwood County. This rotating as well. Quite a bit of rotation. That one heading toward the north. Looks like it's going to go just west of you folks in uptown Greenwood, but if your zip code is Greenwood, you're very likely to get impacted by this storm. So Promised Land at 525, Greenwood by 537, Blakedale by 540. This moving up toward the north at about 30 miles per hour. And again, you're about to get it again across the lakes right here. You had a strong storm and a tornado warning earlier. So please seek shelter right now in Greenwood County from this cell moving up toward the north right here. So this is part of the line that's moving through right here. And again, we'll be watching live Super Doppler 4 HD for all this activity back toward the west. But this one is the last, I say, feisty line that Fred's got for us. So it's packing a punch as it's moving north and eastbound. Here's that line as it sets up from Greenville. We've got 3 active tornado warnings in the upstate right now, with the one that we're watching in the mountains as well. I want to check in on McDowell County as we've been watching this along the I-40 corridor near Lake James. This cell right here has now crossed into Avery County. It's right on the McDowell-Avery County line, still showing some signs of some rotation. Remember, I told you it was trying to go up and over the mountain or was going to go toward Linville. It went up over the mountains and it regained some intensity as it got over it. So it died down for a bit. A couple of scans later, now it's starting to flare back up, and that's heading through Avery County, which puts it into parts of Charlotte's viewing area. So we're going to keep monitoring that closely here, but that now does appear to not be a threat for McDowell County. So good news for our friends there that watch us from Marion over to McDowell County. Pushing farther south, we're watching this line in Greenville County. We've got 3 active tornado warnings. You're watching us in Greenville. Your phones are buzzing. You're seeing the crawl at the top of our screen right here that shows Greenville County under a tornado warning. We've got this activity that's pushing in from Pickens. Anderson County, you're seeing it as well. Although Anderson County, you're almost out of that threat. We've got 2 areas that have been rotating in this line right here that are moving up toward the north at about 30 miles per hour. Let's show you our velocity map and show you where the wind is twisting and turning with this. Kind of our way of of basically x-raying the situation. We've got that little rotation right there across the Saluda and more right in here, and that's two areas that we've been watching here that are in Pickens County, pushing into Greenville County. So I want you on alert near the hospitals. You need to be watching it in Greenville Memorial, St. Francis, and then over toward parts of Paris Mountain, westbound through Travelers Rest. Both of these cells appear to be moving into Greenville County. They are showing signs of weakening rotation, which is certainly good news, but we can't let our guard down. As we know, as soon as these storms are rotating, they can flare down, but they can also flare back up, okay? So Parker, 528, Berea, 531, Travelers Rest, 543, and then Mount View at about 555. As you look over towards Slater, parts of Marietta, I got more of those storms back toward the west that we're watching. We'll look for that, but the more rotation that we're seeing, probably the strongest rotation that we're seeing is right now over the Abbeville-Greenwood County line, right in here. We've got two cells, two separate tornado warnings that are in place right now until 6 o'clock as we're watching this activity across the Abbeville-Greenwood County line ramping up right here. This is east of Due West, west of Cokesbury, moving toward the north, up toward Princeton. We need to watch this closely. Ware Shoals, you're right in the path of this activity. So Shoals Junction, Dunn's Creek Church, Blue Haven, and then Ware Shoals Dragway, all areas that are in the path of this right now. Let's pull out just a little bit and we'll kind of give you an idea of where this box is going to go from here, because it does look like it includes parts of Greenville County. So we'll kind of do a bigger track right in here and extend it out here toward the end, because Lawrence, you are in the path of this, and if it holds together, it's going to be heading towards your neck of the woods. So Ware Shoals, Princeton, Duncan Township, and then Fountain Inn by about 612, all in the path of this storm. I want you to be seeking shelter right now. Shelter is the interior part of your home. You've heard us say it time and time again today. You know, put as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible. Don't be near a window. Most injuries in tornadoes occur from flying debris. You do not want to be around something that could be flying. And we've got that rotation. Cindy, isolating basically everything except for the rotating column of air right now, and it's near the Abbeville-Greenwood County line. That rotation sits right there off of 178. Let's look at our debris field and see if there's any debris in this, see if we're seeing damage out of it. Right now, there's no clear separation from what we'd have. Normally, you'd see this pinkish red color and then a quick flare up of it. Possibly that possibility down there, but we need to watch it closely here. Down toward the south, we've also got that cell in southern Greenwood County. Checking the debris field. I'm not seeing much in the way of debris, but let's turn on live Super Doppler 4 HD and look closer at where that hook is. And yeah, look at that hook. That's a very pronounced hook right there near Bradley, pushing up toward Promised Land and eventually into Greenwood. That has actually gotten a little bit stronger. Let's take a look at our wind speeds with this as we storm track this on out as it moves on through. Yep, right there, the green going toward our radar side on 95, the red going away, and we've got that classic hook right in there. Back to live Super Doppler 4 HD. I've got my hand right there where that rotation is, and right there is where the potential tornado would be. Very classic setup, a very classic hook echo right in here with us moving toward the north at about 30 miles per hour. So let's track this, Sydney, if we can, right in there as it pushes up toward Promised Land and uptown Greenwood. We've been watching this one closely for you because this is a dangerous storm. We want you to be seeking shelter in Bradley and Verdery, Promised Land, and then Salac at about 538. We need to watch this closely as it moves on through the area here, and areas all around this could have some storms here, and watching this closely as we get a new scan there. And yep, let's check out our debris field, because we got a bright spot showing up here, and that could be in fact our radar trying to show that we do have the possibility of a tornado right there on the Abbeville-Greenwood County line near Bradley. This is a dangerous situation for these areas as it moves north-northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So back to the rotation as we kind of isolate what we have going on across the area, the reds and the greens. Seeing some of that across the area here up toward the north. Two areas of rotation right there near Bradley and Greenwood County pushing toward the north. Then we've got this one here across Abbeville, Greenwood County, which is now quickly, I mean, this is picking up speed. Ware Shoals, I need you to be in your safe spot. This is heading right overhead pretty soon. In fact, that rotation is still looking pretty pronounced as it moves away around 178. Up through Ware Shoals and about to cross into Lawrence County. I think in Greenville County, if this continues on its same path, it's going to get very close to your border in Fountain Inn, but should stay more toward the Lawrence County line. So Ware Shoals 527, Poplar Springs 534, Ware Shoals Dragway 534, and then Hickory Tavern at about 545. So really watching this closely. As we bump up toward the north, we've got a new tornado warning that continues to be indicated there in Greenville County. Multiple areas that are rotating here. This warning goes until 6 o'clock for Greenville and Pickens County, although the threat about to cross the Saluda into Greenville. So right now that rotating column of air right there, and we put a track on this as it moves into the north at about 30 miles per hour. So southern side of Greenville, northern side of Greenville getting it, but downtown you're not really in a threat right now. So looking specifically at this, Berea 527, Travelers Rest 539, Slater 544, and then Cross Plains at about 556. All right, watching this closely here across the area. Our phones are buzzing here. We've got the warnings on our phones as well. I'm sure you're hearing it go off on your devices. We're going to walk you through this. Folks, know it's been a long day for you. Back to school of all days, right? You get another severe threat. This from Fred and the rotation around it, and this is kind of the last hurrah that Fred's got for us as this line is pushing out. Let's show you kind of big picture what we're looking at across the upstate, because, hey, for you folks in Spartanburg, Gaffney, and Union, you're watching this, and we want to keep you posted because some of this activity could head your way over the next couple of hours here. So Greenville pushing south toward Anderson, Greenwood, and Abbeville. This line is kind of whipping around like this, whipping around the outer skirts of Fred's rotation right there. So an active tornado warning, number 1 right there in Greenville, northern side. Downtown Greenville, you're fine. Parts of Woodruff Road, Haywood Mall, Roper Mountain Road, all not included in a warning. But you go to southern Greenville County, the southern tip of Fountain Inn, you've got an active tornado warning right there, and a new issuance here of this activity in Greenwood County. This continues to show the most pronounced rotation in Greenwood near Bradley, pushing off toward the north. So let's get in closer. We'll show you this cell. It's a tiny little thing, but it's a feisty one. It's shown signs of some rotation right here, and this is probably the most dangerous one, and it's riding right along the Abbeville Greenwood County line. As we look at that, the rotation still sits right in there, putting a track on it as it moves through. We'll get to this one here in just a moment for you folks in due west, points eastbound. That one's a dangerous one too, but right here, uptown Greenwood, Promised Land, Panola Ridge, Greenwood by 542, and then Coronaca by about 554. Got this other cell in due west, points eastbound, the northern tip of Greenwood County into Abbeville County. This is a dangerous one as well. This one's pushing up toward the north and east at about 30 miles per hour. Putting a track on this, puts it in Ware Shoals at 530. You got 5 minutes, folks. Please get to safety there in Ware Shoals. Poplar Springs at 537. Ware Shoals Dragway 537. And then Hickory Tavern at about 549. So an active day here with this rotating thunderstorm as it moves on through these areas. Let's take a look at our debris field, see if we're seeing anything indicated of indicative of damage here. Not anything really standing out. It does look like they're going to continue a tornado warning up toward Rutherford County. Sydney, if we can bop up to western North Carolina, a new warning issued here for Rutherford County. Yep, this for a new cell that's rotating. So we now have 4 active tornado warnings in our area. This in northern Rutherford County right here. Lake Lures right there. There's Rutherfordton. 2 areas here that look to have a little appendage kind of coming down right there. Let's look at our rotation product and show you where we're talking about the winds and how they're behaving, as this is right on the McDowell, Rutherford County line, some rotation right in there. How about our wind field right there? Yep, a little bit possible right in here. Go back to Live Super Doppler 4 HD. We'll show you this storm that looks like it's about 9 miles south of Marion. So go 9 miles south of Marion. This one looks to be the dominant one that's rotating. We'll put a track on this activity right here as it pushes up toward the north. Another threat for you folks there in McDowell County, and this one's booking it, folks, at about 50 miles per hour. This cell's moving at 50 miles per hour. Puts it in White House by 532, Faro by 540, Marion at 553, and then Woodlawn by 607. So wow, this cell moving at 50 miles per hour. We're seeing this forward speed and the how fast these storms are moving intensify with regard to how close we are to the center of circulation with Fred. So these are now booking it. We've got a 50-mile speed on this storm as it rolls up toward the north. So heads up eastern Yancey County. That would be you folks that watch us there in Yancey County east of Burnsville, and then Marion and McDowell County need to watch that closely as well. Watching it as it lifts toward the north very, very quickly there. So that's a threat. And then we go down toward the upstate where we've got 3 active tornado warnings. The first here in Greenville County. This crossing the Saluda right now, going into Travelers Rest, parts of Slater, Marietta, parts of Berea, right near the hospital right now, the Greenville Memorial, up toward the north, parts of St. Francis. That's kind of where the rotation has been the strongest. I want you to be in your safe place there at the hospitals. This is going to move quickly toward the north at about 35 miles per hour. So please seek shelter there in those areas right now. Is our very own live Super Doppler 4 HD, a priceless tool that we have for you to give an instant look at where that rain is falling and where that potential rotation is setting up across the area. So please take this serious as we're watching it very, very closely there. All right, so watching it, let's take a look at our wind speeds and where they're behaving right now with regard to that rotation. The greens and reds, what we're looking out for. And again, still seeing that right in here as this is moving across the Saluda River, pushing up toward the north. So Travelers Rest, you're very close to this. So Furman, we'll put a track on this right in here, as it basically moves north-northeast, more of a north track than a northeast track, but heading towards you folks in Travelers Rest at about 5:43. So within 15 minutes or so, it's going to be rocking and rolling in TR near Locust Hill Baptist at 5:54, and then Tigerville near North Greenville University at about 6:01. So please seek shelter in those areas. Please get to a safe spot somewhere that you can put as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible there. We need to watch that closely. Farther south in southern Greenville County, we're watching this activity that's been toward the south of Princeton, really near Ware Shoals, and that's still showing some clear signs of rotation heading towards you folks in Ware Shoals. Watching it right here. Let's put a track on this as it's moving toward the northwest. Going to get very close to the Greenville-Lawrence County line as we get a new track on it there as it pushes up toward Princeton, Ware Shoals, up toward parts of Highway 76 right in there. I'll step out. Looks like I've confused our system a little bit as we look at this. We'll start fresh here as it clears on out here. And again, watching it very closely here as it moves on through the area. This active tornado warning for parts of Ware Shoals, Abbeville County until 6 o'clock. And that's where this warning is with that warning and rotation indicated here. Really quite pronounced as we look at that, pushing up toward Ware Shoals. Let's put a storm track on it now as it moves up through Princeton, Highway 76, right along the Greenville, Lawrence, Abbeville County line. So it's really kind of right there in that spot where it could impact a lot of you there. So Blue Heaven, Ware Shoals Dragway at 5:35, New Prospect Church at 5:44, and then Raven Creek Baptist Church at 5:50. Farther south, we've got that tornado warning that exists in southern Greenwood County that's been near Bradley. Still got that rotation. It's east of Abbeville, north of Bradley right now. That's going to get very close to uptown Greenwood and get very close to Cokesbury. So this rotation right here, we'll put a track on it as it moves up through Cokesbury. And again, the western side of the lake, something we need to really watch for. So Salac, Blakedale, Greenwood High School, okay, 5:45, and then Cokesbury at about 5:51. So watching this very closely here, need to watch that. Up in Greenville County, we've got an extension of this tornado warning. This was located 9 miles northwest of downtown Greenville. So there's downtown Greenville, 9 miles northwest. Right there would be our potential tornado. It's moving toward Travelers Rest at now 40 miles per hour. This is booking it, picking up speed right here. So this would be our cell that could potentially be a tornado, and it's pushing toward Travelers Rest near Whitehorse Road as you get toward the 276-25 split right there. So TR at 5:37, Slater at 5:44. So Travelers Rest, I told you a minute ago, it was about 5:45. That was correct at the time based on the current speed. Well, this thing's sped up a little bit. Now expected to be there earlier. So hey, don't waste any time. You have about 5 minutes before this storm is over downtown Travelers Rest at 5:37. Slater by 5:44. Cross Plains by 5:54, and then Chestnut Springs by about 6:05. This pushing quickly, 40 miles per hour. That's booking it for a storm system right here. And as we get closer to the core of Fred, that's what we're going to see as more of this activity will begin to ramp up. Now, farther south, we're watching this activity. We've also actually, farther north is what I meant to say, in northern Rutherford County. This cell has now crossed into McDowell County. This is our fourth warning right here that's pushing toward the I-40 corridor. So if you have family that could be traveling from Asheville back through Morganton, Washington, please call them, get on the phone right now, let them know that there's a tornado that could cross over I-40 right now. This heading toward the western sides of Marion, and this one's moving at 50 miles per hour. So as we track this out as it goes toward the north toward Grassy Creek, western sides of Marion, Pleasant Gardens, West Junior High School there in McDowell County, Tom's Creek at about 6 o'clock, and then Woodlawn by about 6:05. So that one moving very quickly as well. Let's take a big picture look at what's going on right now across the area as we go back to live Super Doppler 4 HD. This is what we have across the area. Multiple tornado warnings stretching from Greenwood to Abbeville to Greenville, southern Greenville County, northern Greenville County, and then McDowell County. Those are the warnings that we have in place right now. We thank you for watching us. Thank you for trusting us during this severe weather. We know it's been a long day for you. Back to school is a stressful day enough, much less throwing in flooding rains and the potential for tornadoes. We'll walk you through it. We're almost through with this threat here. We can get through the next hour or so, folks. Just please be safe. Don't let your guard down in this. I need you to hold on just a little bit longer. I know it's been an inconvenience today getting in and out of shelter. This tornado warning in the northern side of Greenville County that's really going to impact parts of Travelers Rest goes until 6 o'clock, and a brand new tornado warning, this unfortunately near downtown Greenville. All right, near the station here, this is going to impact downtown Greenville and areas unfortunately that were impacted earlier. If you know folks that are maybe cleaning up, I know our crews are out, those in the newsroom, we're going to be safe. We're going to keep our crews safe. This is heading toward the same areas that were impacted by those tornadoes earlier, okay? We're talking Greenville, we're talking Malden, we're talking Simpsonville. This possible tornado was located 8 miles south of downtown Greenville, probably right in here, and it's moving north near Donaldson Center at about 35 miles per hour. So let's look at the rotation in this, the wind speeds to show you where we're talking about, very close to our Doppler site right in here. So let's put a track on this activity right here that's moving toward the north and east. I know, folks, I know. You just dealt with tornado damage. This is a separate threat. Another threat for a possible tornado moving toward Piedmont at 5:38, downtown Greenville by about 6 o'clock. And by downtown Greenville, I mean the east side of town, getting close to Wade Hampton Boulevard, getting close to Woodruff Road, Roper Mountain Road, the Haywood Mall. You need to be watching out for this. Taylor's by about 6:14, and then Blue Ridge slash the northern parts of Taylor's at about 5:29. That would be the Sandy Flat area, the Locust Hill area by about 6:30. This booking it at about 30-35 miles per hour. So a brand new tornado warning for Greenville downtown. The danger with this is it moves on through the area very, very quickly. So as we look at debris, looking out and surveilling the area here, not seeing a clear sign of debris with this. This is a very skinny line. We'd see kind of a flare up if there were debris on there, but we got that rotation that's in northern Greenville County, and we've got that rotation that's near Donaldson heading up toward the north here. This is going to move up through these areas. So Malden, you're cleaning up. You got another rotating thunderstorm right on top of you. It's a small storm, but as we isolate exactly where that could be, heads up if you're near Sue Cleveland Elementary School, okay? Donaldson Field, 5:47. East Gant, 5:47. Paramount Park at about 5:52. Those areas in the threat right now for the potential tornado in Greenville. We've got 3 threats for Greenville County. Let's pull out here, give you kind of some perspective on where we sit right now. You've got the cell that's in northern Greenville County near Travelers Rest. You've got the cell that's in downtown Greenville, south toward Donaldson, that's going to impact Roper Mountain, Woodruff Road, the Haywood Mall. And then you've got this cell in the extreme southern parts of Greenville County that could get Fountain Inn. This coming from Abbeville County, and then you've got this cell in Greenwood. So 1, 2, 3, 4 active tornado warnings stretching from Travelers Rest all the way south toward Greenwood. Basically, the entire Highway 25 corridor has a tornado warning right now. That entire column is rotating around this as we move on through the area. Our phones are going off. I'm sure you're hearing the same thing in your neck of the woods here. So we want to let you know that this is a dangerous situation. Thank you. Thank you for watching us, and thank you for trusting us during this situation. All right. Live Super Doppler 4 HD, our very own Doppler radar, giving us that instant minute-by-minute look at where these storms are. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up toward the top here. So southern Greenwood County, I've been watching this cell near Bradley, near Kirksey, near Troy, and it's been moving up toward the north. We'll put a track on it kind of wide, then we'll get in and kind of analyze it and work our way up the north toward Highway 25. Right here is this cell as it moves up toward the north. I want you to be seeking shelter right now in these areas: Uptown Greenwood, Cokesbury, Ware Shoals, and Lawrence by 639. All right, that's a dangerous storm. We've also got this hook right in here that's in northern Abbeville County. Let's put a track on this because as it moves up toward the north, kind of overlapping into some same areas here. You need to be seeking shelter in these areas. So Princeton, Gray Court, Fountain Inn, and Lyman by about 7 o'clock. All right, let's get in a little bit closer here. I want to look closer at this storm in Greenville because this is going to go into our most populated area. There's Piedmont, Donaldson down toward Williamston. Right in here has been where our rotation's been, and this is moving toward the north-northeast. So let's put a track on this activity right here. It's going to move right through downtown Greenville, points eastbound. I know this is a stressful situation for you folks. You got things to do, you got places to go. We want you to hold tight just for a little bit, okay? Near Gant at 546. Greenville 554, the Wade Hampton Boulevard area there out of Greenville before you get to Taylor's at 604. That's where the Walmart is, bowling alley, the Texas Roadhouse. Taylor's by 608. All right, so 608s, we need to be in a safe place there in Taylor's. Then we've got this cell that's now in northern Greenville County. They haven't trimmed back this warning yet, but you're clear in Pickens. I'm not concerned about Pickens County anymore, but right over Travelers Rest is where this is. State Park Road, where it meets Highway 25 near the Walmart. That's where that rotation sits, and it's moving quickly toward the northwest. There's Lake Robinson up here toward really North Greenville University, Tigerville, Glassy Mountain. You need to be seeking shelter right now as that rotation's really kind of following the terrain there in northern Greenville County. Lima, parts of Cross Plains. Watching that closely, and of course my phone, we're close to this, folks. You're probably seeing it. That's part of the weather alerts you get, and this is close to home. We're right here in downtown Greenville. You know, if we get to a situation where I'm concerned about our safety here at the station, we'll get to our safe place here as well. Not to that point yet, but folks, we'll be on guard. You know, we'll stay safe just like we're asking you to do. Lima, Cross Plains, Chestnut Springs, and then Saluda at 609. Let's get in closer, analyze some of the rotation, and take a quick look at our debris to make sure we're not seeing debris flying around the air. That would indicate that we're getting damage. A little flare up right in here, and that concerns me in Greenville, so we need to watch that. Let's see if that co-locates with where our rotation sits, and it does right there just west of downtown Greenville. So watching this closely, all right? Downtown Greenville points northbound. Watching that as it moves toward the north. Let's look at our rotation product. Basically take everything else off the map and show you the rotation. Two of them right now, they're small, but they're potent. Actually three. There's the one in Travelers Rest. Let's start with that one and we'll work our way down toward the south. So this moving from Slater, downtown Travelers Rest near where I said the Walmart and the State Park Road meet on 25. And then you got this one up here toward the north. This following the terrain going up toward the water reservoir there. If you go the back way, the old Highway 25, there's the new Highway 25. There's the old one that goes up that pretty drive you go in the fall. Heading right towards you right there. Tigerville, Glassy Mountain, right along Highway 11 right there. There's Lake Robinson. You're just to the south of that threat, thankfully. Let's go toward the south and show you this activity that's over Berea. That's the one I was talking about near the hospitals. I need you to be staying in your safe place for because we've got some degree of rotation there as well. And then farther south in downtown Greenville, we're watching this threat that's back south farther toward Whitehorse Road and watching this back toward Paramount Park. Golden Grove, Moonville, this activity is moving toward the north and west. In fact, as we put a loop on this, you can kind of see where this activity originated and where it's going. And we do have some sky cams. I want to show you this is our Peace Center sky cam, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Excuse me, folks. This is our Peace Center sky cam. Lots of heavy rainfall, and folks, you need to be seeking shelter right now in downtown Greenville. Look at the sheets of rain just coming in and whipping through right here. This is the danger. You don't see anything. Tell me that one more time, please, Producer Richard.
Greenville County school buses.
All right, Greenville. All right, Greenville County school buses are telling us, Greenville County telling us their Greenville County school buses are sheltering in place right now again. So if your child is not home yet due to the delays earlier, they are now re-sheltering back in place. And you saw why right there from our Greenville Skycam. This coming down in sheets, and really we're seeing rotation flare up at any given time. So as we zoom out here, basically, simply put, the entire upstate down Highway 25 under a tornado warning. And it's because we're seeing this line rotate, flare up, flare back down. And if we can, let's go back to our Skycam. I want to show you that again, just kind of show you the view or the lack thereof that you would see if you're out there. Do not be near a window. This is a camera we have mounted high up on the Peace Center, but look at how the sheets of wind are whipping in. Some strong winds at the very least, but also could be the possibility of some rotation showing up here. So you get this to drive on through, but folks, this is not like out west. You can't see something coming in from miles and miles away. It's rain wrapped, and that's the danger. And debris during these type situations, the danger as well. This from downtown Greenville, our Peace Center Skycam. Let's go back to Doppler radar, our very own live Super Doppler 4 HD showing us an instant look at where those storms are. We can pinpoint that threat for you and look at the sheets of rain coming down here in Greenville. The rotation has fluctuated up and down. We need to take this carefully here and look at that flare up here where the green and the red are meeting. So we need to watch this here across Greenville. We've got multiple parts of this line that are rotating across Greenville north, Highway 25 pushing southbound. That's what we're looking out for. Right now, I'm not seeing damage. That's the good news here for you. If we see a flare up as we had earlier, it would show up as kind of a brighter color, which can indicate tree branches, leaves. That small can show up on live Super Doppler 4 HD, but there's our rotation. And again, we've seen this flare up, flare back down in between Moonville and up toward the north. As we look at this is part of a line that continues to move on through the area. Very volatile situation here. I know many of you are watching from Greenville right now, stretching up through Greer and Travelers Rest. It's been a long day, a very long day with back to school, and here we are with more tornado warnings. Again, basically the entire Greenville County under a tornado warning. And I don't want you to let your guard down really anywhere, because this line, though it's showing signs of rotation, what will happen here is you'll see it fluctuate up and then fluctuate back down. 1 or 2 scans later, it's done. So some of these tropical tornadoes that we get this time of the year can last as little as 35 to 45 seconds. You know, that's what happens in our scans the area as it watches what's going on right now. We've got that rotation over Greenville. In fact, there's that rotation over West Greenville, what we probably were seeing from our Skycam. Here's downtown Greenville where our Skycam sits looking west, and that's where our Skycam looks. Let's try to look at our Peace Center Skycam again so I can show you what's happening here in downtown. Again, looking basically west toward this storm right here. Again, a safe view. We're not near a window. That's the good news. Our studio in a very secure spot of the building here. I'm confident we're okay here, but looking at the studio here, you don't want to be driving around. I see folks driving around in downtown Greenville. Folks, if you know anybody that's in downtown Greenville right now, hold tight. Go in a building. Just hunker down for 15, 20 minutes. You want to be not traveling in this. Look at the waves and the sheets of rain coming in. And again, that's the danger with this line as we look out. Can we check out any of our other Skycams? Y'all pop something up. I'll follow along with you here. Here's our Paris Mountain Skycam. Again, the shaking, the winds. This from Travelers Rest. Look at the trees right there. And again, I want you to be on alert that we're watching these Skycams around the area, and this stretching from northern Greenville County down south, there could be a tornado touchdown at any given time. I don't say that to scare you. I say that to prepare you, because as you can see here from our Paris Mountain Skycam, we can't see that tree anymore. The driving rain and the sheets coming on through, and it could whip up debris at any given time. And I want you to know that these would be brief touchdowns. Tornadoes could touch down, then go back up, but damage is damage, folks. And looking from Paris Mountain, it is just coming down hard and heavy right now. Let's look at some of our other Skycams. Do we have Haywood Road? We do right here. My, what a different look that is from Haywood Road right there. There's, of course, the Haywood Mall looking toward Roper Mountain right there. So things look a little bit calmer on our Roper Mountain, our Haywood Road Skycam at 385. So that's certainly some good news there. Let's go back to live Super Doppler 4 HD, show you the threats. We do have an active tornado warning for all of Greenville County. And again, it's that line that's really whipping through the area here that could touch down a tornado at any given time. And that's what these tropical tornadoes will do. They'll touch down, then they'll come back up. And that's the threat with this activity as it rolls on through the area here. So northern Greenville County stretching through downtown, Simpsonville, Malden, down toward Moonville. Watching this closely here, Princeton due west down toward Abbeville County. Watching that and watching it very closely here. Our very own live Super Doppler 4 HD tracking this, and we've got all of this watching it for this line. Again, Spartanburg County, you're hearing the sirens go off now, and it's for this line that's over downtown Greenville. Thankfully, downtown Greenville, you're almost out of it, okay? It's pushing into Greer. Taylors, and eventually Lyman and Inman. You're under that tornado warning right now in Spartanburg County for this activity that's pushing eastbound. Let's start looking at some of our velocity. We'll kind of go in depth and look at some of this. This is our x-ray basically of the storms. You've got that rotation that's been showing up from time to time across Greenville and up toward the north and Travelers Rest, basically right over Paris Mountain, unfortunately, where that storm was just a moment ago. Can we check back in with our Paris Mountain sky cam? Because I do see some rotation right there. And again, wow. Here is Paris Mountain. I think I just saw lightning right there. And again, just driving rain. Now, this is some strong wind, folks. 50, 60 miles per hour. Now, it may not be a tornado right now, but this is some damaging winds on top of Paris Mountain right here. And with all the rain that we've seen, it is a dangerous situation here. And we've seen that rotation show up from time to time. Let's go back to Live Super Doppler 4 HD. There's Paris Mountain, and there's that rotation we've seen. So, yeah, dangerous situation in Greenville. Really want you to be taking this serious on the east side of Paris Mountain. You can see Paris Mountain from a lot of areas, from Travelers Rest to Greer to Taylors. If you're on the east side of Paris Mountain, on the Taylors and Greer side, that storm's heading towards you right now. You're very familiar with tornadic activity in Taylors and Greenville. Very similar area to this, just north of Pleasantburg, just north of the Home Depot right there that was impacted by the tornado last year. This is pushing east very quickly toward Taylors and Greer. Lake Robinson, you're kind of on either side of this storm, but this line really fluctuating up and down with rotation popping up all along the line. It really doesn't matter where it's at right now, you know, because it's going to pop up somewhere else in just a few minutes. So really want you to be, I say that to tell you, I want you to be on guard just about anywhere in this line, because we're seeing it bow out and then stop and then bow out somewhere else a minute later. So an active tornado warning for all of Greenville County. Most of Spartanburg County right here will be in that as well, as this potent line is pushing up toward the north and east. Then we've got this activity down toward Greenwood and Abbeville County. This too has shown signs of rotation. If we look at our wind speeds, we can show you not as pronounced in Greenwood, which is certainly some good news. Up toward Princeton, Ware Shoals, we've seen that rotation from time to time. Not seeing it as pronounced, which is certainly some good news. Good news for Anderson and Pickens. The National Weather Service canceling this warning, drawing it out. You can come out of your safe place in Anderson and Pickens. We'll see that trend back here in just a second here for Anderson County, where our Doppler site is. So good news there. You are clear of that warning. You can come out of your safe place. But hey, Tigerville, no, stay where you're at. Travelers Rest, over towards Sandy Flat, parts of Lake Robinson. Really need to be watching this line as it moves on through. It has shown signs of ramping up and then flaring up and then dying back down. And we'll see that happen along this line. So you can see here, as I was mentioning, this is multiple areas of rotation stretching from northern Greenville County basically all the way down 25 into Greenwood County. And this is a different area than where it was 10 minutes ago. So what's happening here, what this is doing, is different areas of this line bowing out. And folks, we may have just witnessed a tornado on Paris Mountain. There's Paris Mountain and there's that rotation. That is some very strong rotation, and we caught it right there on our camera on Paris Mountain. That was very, very volatile that we saw on that camera, and now it's on the east side of the mountain. There's Paris Mountain, there's downtown Greenville, there's Cherrydale. So very likely at least some strong winds, but that air was rotating, and with Paris Mountain being up higher, you know, 2,000, 2,500 feet in elevation, it's possible that we have that rotation give us a touchdown tornado. So hey, heads up near Sandy Flat, near the Otter Creek Water Park. That's near 6 o'clock. Faith Temple by 5:59. Again, Otter Creek Water Park 5:56, and Little Texas 5:52. All right, folks, watching this closely. Been a long day for you. I know you've had multiple tornado threats. You finally got your kids home. You thought it was over. Well, it's not quite yet. Hold tight, okay? Travelers Rest. We've got some rotation. Let's, in fact, zoom in here if we can, because this is State Park Road. A lot of folks live in and around the State Park Road area. Many housing developments there off State Park Road, east of the Walmart there. Rotation setting up here, heading toward Locust Hill. There's Locust Hill Road, a big thoroughfare off of 25. Locust Hill Baptist, our friends near Sandy Flat. You need to be seeking shelter. This is heading north and east toward Lake Robinson, toward Tigerville, toward Glassy Mountain, North Greenville University. So Travelers Rest Speedway 5:51, Locust Hill 5:53, Mount View at 5:57, and then Mountain View Elementary School at 5:57. Please seek shelter right now. A dangerous situation in that neck of the woods. And again, let's check in with our Peace Center Skycam. We'll kind of do a look around. Much calmer look, still raining, still low visibility across the Peace Center Skycam, but that band that moved through that was possibly rotating calm down. Let's check in with our Paris Mountain sky cam if we can. Here's a look at that. Again, I want to tell you, it's very possible as that rotation. I saw the signature on the Doppler radar. I've seen the rotating signature there on our other tools. It looks calmer on Paris Mountain, but that was really a strong storm that moved through Paris Mountain that we caught there on our Skycam. In fact, we're seeing the visibility clear up second by second, but that storm is now on the east side of Paris Mountain. Let's get back to live Super Doppler 4 HD because we saw how feisty it was, and in fact, that's exactly where the tornado warning is and where we're seeing the rotation right now. Let's get into that because Cherrydale is just north of downtown Greenville, and that's where Paris Mountain is, and the east side of that's where that rotation is right now. And I want you to be on guard. Parts of Sandy Flat, parts of Mountain View, up toward Mountain View Elementary, Glassy Mountain, North Greenville University. This is that line that produced that rotation and that strength and that wind that we saw on our Skycam there. We need to watch that closely because, boy, this is a dangerous situation setting up here. Let's turn on just our rotation to be able to see where we're seeing that line kind of flare up. And again, we were isolating that up toward Paris Mountain with just our wind shear product here. We'll show you right there. There's Paris Mountain. And again, like I mentioned earlier, mountains do strange things to tornadoes in general. But when you're talking about a tropical air mass where the clouds are so low to the ground, you get up in elevation, that could have been a tornado there on Paris Mountain. And now that same cell sits just east of Paris Mountain, moving off toward the east right here. And I want you to let you know in these communities is Sydney kind of tracks it out for us. Paris Mountain State Park, it's over you right now. Old-fashioned Baptist Church there off of State Park Road at 556. Taylor's Elementary School, that's twice now you've been under the gun for severe weather. Now 601 for Pleasant View Baptist Church there in Greenville. We've also got that rotation. We caught it on our Peace Center Skycam downtown Greenville. Whew, it was rocking and rolling there for a moment. We've got some pretty significant rotation here just east. In fact, just north and east of Roper Mountain. Let's zoom in here and get to street level. We'll show you where this rotation is. There's Paris Mountain down here just south of Stone Lake near Crescent. There's 385. There's White Oak Drive and Keith Drive near Delwood. This is pushing up toward the east near 291, right south of Wade Hampton Boulevard, Columbia Circle. Pretty strong rotation right here, keeping that possibility of rotation and maybe even a tornado there. Let's pull out just a little bit, getting some reports from Hickory Tavern in Lawrence County of a funnel cloud just spotted minutes ago. As we're looking at more rotation down toward the south in Lawrence and Greenwood County, south of Greenville, we've been seeing the line ramp up and then die back down and then flare back up here. There's Malden, there's Greenville, seeing some of that activity here. So let's go out across the entire upstate here and show you where this line sits right now, because the rotation has been very feisty in and around this whole line, stretching from northern Greenville County all the way down towards southern Greenwood County. And really, this is not letting up for you folks in Lawrence County, south toward Greenwood. This is really packing a punch here all across Highway 25, pushing toward the south. Let's look at southern Greenwood County if we can, because right there is where that part of that cell was. Now north of uptown Greenwood. That's the good news here for you. But we've got the possibility of this tornado still in the ground as it passes by Lake Greenwood, heading toward the north here. Multiple cells. This is kind of the closest line to Fred Center, which has the most volatility, the most rotation with it, and that's showing up here in multiple forms. We've got rotation all around it. And hey, you know, when I told you a moment ago that, you know, where it's at one moment may be different 5 minutes from there, and that's what happens in these tropical type situations is you get a flare up of rotation, then it dives back down. Hickory Tavern, that co-locates with where the fire department just told us in Hickory Tavern right there that there was a funnel cloud. That's where I'm seeing rotation at right now, live Super Doppler 4 HD. So we're getting ground truth of this, and not to say that it's a tornado on the ground, but hey, we've got visuals of a funnel cloud in Hickory Tavern. We've also got a live Super Doppler 4 HD telling us that this air is rotating here. Let's put a track on this right here as it moves up toward the north and east, because this could touch down a tornado at any given minute, okay? I want to let you know here across there, and then Center Raven Church, Mileback Speedway, Owings, and then Friendship Church at 613. Let's show you what's happening in Greenville live right now. If we can go to our Peace Center Skycam, and just like that, moments later, We can breathe again, okay? Downtown Greenville looking okay. Folks are traveling again. I like to see that. Please be careful as you're traveling, though, because there could be damage. And just because there was a tornado and possibly strong winds rotating doesn't mean it caused damage. It certainly can, and we're going to look out for that when we can safely do so. But right now, looking much different from our Peace Center Skycam. Can we look at our Paris Mountain Skycam? Is that still available to us? Boy, that was shaking in the wind a minute ago. We saw leaves flying around. I at least saw leaves and maybe even some limbs flying around there. Look at the fog and the clouds settling in right here from Paris Mountain. Whew, much calmer there. You can breathe in Paris Mountain. If you're on the west side of Paris Mountain, you're no longer in a threat for a tornado. It's the east side of town we need to look out for. In fact, let's go back to live Super Doppler 4HD and show you where those threats remain. Up and down Greenville County. Boy, this has been a feisty day. From basically uptown Greenwood to Travelers Rest, where Henderson County meets. That's where we have the threats right now. And in fact, they're keeping this tornado warning here for Greenville, Lawrence, and now Spartanburg. You are now in this. This will go until 6:45. This cell right here is the one that was the funnel cloud in Hickory Tavern. We heard from the fire department in Hickory Tavern that there's a funnel cloud. Hey, we saw it. And on live Super Doppler 4HD, we're seeing that rotation. So that tells me that here near Hickory Tavern, there's a rotating column of air, and it's moving north towards Spartanburg. So I want to let you folks know in Spartanburg, we're watching this closely for you. It could very well touch down a tornado. So Sydney's tracking this out for us here. Gray Court 602, Woodruff 622, Crooked Fence Farm at 630, and then Roebuck by 642. This is an area that's more immediately going to see this threat. Let's give a kind of a bigger threat here all the way into Spartanburg County, kind of give you a good look at what time it'll be in your neck of the woods. Again, this speed is picking up because of Fred's speed picking up as well. So Fountain Inn by 610, Fairmont by 642. Downtown Spartanburg, we're targeting about 6:45 or 7 o'clock. This is booking it. This is moving more quickly. And in fact, we may need to adjust our forward speed here. I'm going to do that here for just a second. A new tornado warning for Greenwood and Lawrence County. This goes until 6:45 here. So what's happening here, folks, is Fred is getting closer to us, and that is also increasing our forward speed with these storms. So what I need to do here is on live Super Doppler 4HD, there's a setting that I need to adjust that basically indicates that, hey, Fred's moving faster. So I'm going to change the forward speed on our storm tracker here, and that'll give us kind of a good look at where we stand. So those of you that are watching us right now in Anderson and Clemson and Pickens, you had a long day too. Nothing to worry about for you right now. You're all clear for severe weather. This is really a Highway 25 eastbound event right now. We want you to be on guard, especially for this cell that we have a confirmed funnel cloud that, hey, the fire department in Hickory Tavern saw. Now that's moving toward downtown Spartanburg. You need to be getting to your safe place there and more. In parts of Lyman and Inman, you've got this other side of the storm. So getting some of this update here from the National Weather Service, let's kind of look at where our warnings stand right now, because we've got some of them that have cleared off and some of them that remain. This line in uptown Greenwood, boy, that one's one to watch right now, north of Troy. That's about 8 miles northeast of Troy, moving northeast here. So let's track this one right here in southern Greenwood County, right there. That one is looking feisty as well, near Troy, heading northbound. And again, that one showing signs that it could move toward uptown Greenwood. And again, my friends in Greenwood, I know this is like your third threat for a tornado. You need to be on guard. By 6:10, this other rotating storm could be over you. So you're saying, hey, how is it possible I'm getting 3 or 4 tornadoes move through our area? Well, multiple lines of this are moving through, and we're seeing that rotation flare up and then die back down over and over again. So Matthew Heights, 605. Uptown Greenwood 610, Coronacre by 617, Waterloo by 625. So that's where that danger lies, and Greenwood moving toward the north, and it'll get into parts of Lawrence County as well. Let's get into this cell right here, because this is an immediate threat for Spartanburg County. More parts of Lawrence County near Hickory Tavern. Again, this is an area right there that we've seen a funnel cloud been spotted by the fire department. Okay, so there's where that funnel cloud is. As it moves up toward the north, it's unfortunately heading towards you folks in downtown Spartanburg. So Fountain Inn more immediately in the next 5-10 minutes. Crescent by 617, Dillard Crossroads by 622, and then Fairmont by 630. Again, this is our very own Doppler radar giving us an instant look at where these storms are. Not a delay, giving you a fresh look at where those wind speeds are. No minutes of a delay right right here for us. So as I turn on both live Super Doppler 4 HD and the GSP radar, giving us a good look at where that rotation is, and I'm seeing it right there. Yeah, that is right there where we've seen some rotation flare up here from both live Super Doppler 4 HD and we've seen reports from a funnel cloud there from fire crews. So looking up toward the north, this is moving northbound very quickly. Fountain Inn 606, Gaylord's Crossroads at 611, and then 617 for Cashville. Good news for you folks in Anderson County. You are no longer in any kind of warning. That has been trend back for Piedmont, and we've got this rotation that sits right here. Now, if we can turn on just our wind shear product, we'll see where these rotating thunderstorms lie, and it is picking up right on the leading edge of that line, stretching down. Those blue dots indicate every single area that we have rotation on live Super Doppler 4 HD. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean a tornado's on the ground, but it could, and it could mean that a touchdown happens and then it lifts back up, okay? So right now in Lawrence County, if we'll zoom into street level right here, I want to show you exactly where this is, heading toward Gray Court. A tool, basically, how cool is this? The most important thing you need to know is where the rotation is, right? There's New Way Drive, there's Highway 101 in Lawrence County, there's Cooley Road, and this is moving up toward the north very quickly, okay? And let's bop up the hill, so to speak, into Greenville County and show you where some more of this rotation is, as we're still seeing rotation just north of Fountain Inn. We've seen it in and around Simpsonville where that tornado damage was earlier. And as we look out across the entire area, there's rotation happening right now up toward the north. There is Greenville, and this is one that is heading toward Taylor's. There's Piedmont Park. There's Otter Creek Water Park. There's Wade Hampton Boulevard near Taylor's. We've got some significant rotation right here south of Sandy Flat. And it looks like on the southern end of Lake Robinson near Stillwater, you're going to be right on the edge of this. Also, rotation near Glassy Mountain near Tigerville. That's following right along the terrain there. If you know Highway 11 from Spartanburg County over to Lake Keowee, it follows right at the base of the mountain. It's a beautiful drive, but it's really where the elevation starts to go up, and that's where this cell right here is riding. So let's do a couple of storm tracks here as this is riding up toward the north in Tigerville along Highway 11. We've got that possibility over it really closely. Okay, so that we need to watch this one as it moves through New Salem Church, Mountain Hill Church, and then Fort Creek Church. And just getting word here from Lawrence County that the National Weather Service is concerned about the structure here in Lawrence County. And again, this is right where we saw the funnel cloud. Yeah, that's some of the strongest structure we've seen so far. So very possible there's a tornado right there. You can see how it's wrapping around into it, and that dot right there could very well be the tornado on the ground. All right, so let's show you how that's flared up. Yeah. Ooh, that's some concern right there in Lawrence County. Very possible there's a tornado on the ground in Lawrence County right now. From all the products I'm seeing using live Super Doppler 4 HD and the ground truth that we're getting here from the National Weather Service, fire crews seeing funnel clouds right there. That is the strongest structure we've seen on radar so far today. Fountain Inn 609, Cooks Crossroads 612, Dillard Crossroads 623, and then Green Pond by 623. Need to watch that as well. That right there very well could be a tornado. Sydney, if we can zoom right into that, we'll get in and show you where that possible tornado is on the ground. It's approaching Gray Court, Highway 101 right there. And yeah, that could very well be a tornado. You can see the winds would be wrapping right into that. Very possible tornado on the ground right there in Gray Court. All right, let's get into street level right there, and that matches up really well with where our rotation is. Highway 101 right there. Please seek shelter right now. Very likely there's a tornado on the ground in Lawrence County, and it's approaching 385. All right, approaching 385 right now in Lawrence County. You know where that Walmart shipping plant is, where they kind of gather everything? It's approaching that area of 385. You pass it a lot going to and from Greenville. Right there is where that possible tornado is, okay? So please seek shelter there in Owings and Gray Court, watching it very closely. There's Highway 101. It's just north of you right there. Please seek shelter in northern Lawrence County. Let's put a track on this activity here as it moves more, in the near term. Then we'll zoom out and show you where it's going beyond that, because this is heading towards you folks in Spartanburg County if it holds together. So in the near term, a possible tornado on the ground heading toward Mount Carmel Church, New Harmony Church, and New Durban Church. Now let's pull out a little bit and show you where this is going to head. Now, it's not to say this is going to hold together the whole time. I hope it doesn't, but if it does, I want to alert you to the fact that this could very well hold together, and if it does, Even if it dies down and then flares back up, it could do that. So right here is where that possible tornado is. It's heading towards Spartanburg, okay? So let's put a track on this as it moves out toward the north, and it's moving at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. So Fountain Inn at 6:09, Dillard Crossroads at 6:22. I need you to prepare for a potential tornado in Fairmont at 6:30, and then Valley Falls by 6:43. So these areas in the immediate path of this storm here, and we're seeing that ramp on up in these areas, and we really need you to be on guard for that in Spartanburg County, because that structure there, if we put a loop on it, you can see how it flared up and really tightened up its rotation right in there. Looks like it's come down a bit, which is certainly some good news. But let's look at our rotation, the green and red. That gives us kind of an x-ray of where this storm is. And yeah, I mean, we've got that rotation really ramped up here across the 385 corridor. And again, this is just south of Fountain Inn. There is the Greenville County line, Simpsonville, south toward Fountain Inn. As you cross into Lawrence County, possible tornado crossing over 385 right now. All right, there's the Spartanburg County line. It's heading quickly toward that. Again, this is moving at 45 to 50 miles per hour. As we look at our debris, let's loop that back too and see if we see any damage out of this. We may need to slow it down a little bit, as this kind of can move a little quickly here, but this storm moved up from the south. Not seeing a clear indication of large debris, which is certainly some good news. Not to say that there wasn't a tornado, you know, there, but it doesn't mean that it just means that it didn't cause significant damage as indicated by Doppler radar. Please let us know if you see that, though. But boy, that has been some strong rotation, and one of the strongest we've seen today, and it's right there approaching the 385 corridor, west of Gray Court, south of Fountain Inn, kind of in between there, and it's crossing Old Lawrence Road right there, and really getting very close to the Spartanburg County line very shortly. So zooming into street level, there's 385. Down toward the south, and here this bright blue would indicate rotation, which could indicate the possibility there's a tornado here, okay, near Burdette Road, moving up toward Cadillac Drive. All right, this is heading towards Spartanburg County. So let me pull out a little bit and show you what we're talking about across the entire upstate. You've seen the warnings, you see your county at the top of the screen. You want to know, hey, can I come out of my safe place right now? Let's turn on live Super Doppler 4HD and show you. If you live in Pickens, Anderson, Abbeville, you're fine. Even in downtown Greenville, you're fine. In fact, let's show you our sky cam from the Peace Center just to give you a bird's eye view. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, it's much calmer in Greenville right now, but just east of Greenville is where we've got to watch out for. It was a much different story about 30 minutes ago as we saw the storm roll right through Greenville, right through Paris Mountain, and possibly touching down or at least giving us the threat of a tornado at any given point. We caught two on our cameras that really had me thinking, and we have it here, a video here from Paris Mountain, this from about 30 minutes ago as we had that rotation come on through. This is actually live. We got the clouds, the wind picking up. Let me show you live Super Doppler 4HD to show you where we're talking about this, because that back edge of that storm looks like it's kind of built back into to Paris Mountain right there. Zooming in, that bottom edge of it cleared Paris Mountain. Now you're getting some more rain here on the backside of it, but I don't see it being any kind of rotating part of the thunderstorm. That right now is approaching Taylor's, and I want you to be in your safe spot there in Lake Robinson, from Stillwater down toward the southern end near the dam. That's an area that could see that rotation. And this is that storm that rolled through Greenville and Paris Mountain. So an active tornado warning for eastern Greenville County up through Tigerville, Glassy Mountain, pushing into Greer and Taylor's. Then you go down toward Fountain Inn, Lawrence County, Spartanburg County. This crossing up north, basically riding right along the Lawrence County, Greenville County line. Again, just south of you folks in Fountain Inn, near Lawrence County. And this has shown some of the strongest structure we've seen so far today in our area as we've seen that, okay? All right, getting some reports here from some storm spotter networks here of the possibility of some damage that crossed the I-26 corridor here in the 385 corridor in Fountain Inn. And that would co-locate with where we saw that debris a minute ago there, Sydney, with that storm right there as it rolled right on through. Let's zoom in a little bit and put a loop on that, and we'll look back at that, because it does look like we're getting some ground truth here as that storm crossed the 385-26. So here's 385 where it goes into Lawrence County right there, and it's very possible that we had some damage out of that. Getting a report here, not confirmed by the National Weather Service yet, but some of their reliable storm spotters reporting some damage as that storm crossed the I-385 corridor right there. So a dangerous situation right there. Let's pull out just a little bit if we can here. We'll show you this activity as it moves on down 385. Now the 385 26 splits on down toward the south, so it looks like they're talking about that activity that crossed 385 right there. Very possible as we saw that flare up of the rotation on our tools with Live Super Doppler 4 HD, and now getting some storm spotter truth of the potential of that giving us some damage. Again, 3 miles southeast of Fountain Inn, which, you know, remember I told you a minute ago we were talking about Fountain Inn south, really in between Gray Court and Fountain Inn, and that co-locates right there with where we were seeing it. Still ongoing with possible damage there. So let's get in closer to Fountain Inn and points northbound here as we're looking at Cook's Crossroads, Owings. This could be a tornado that moved across 385 right there and is now moving up toward the north and east. Let's take a look at our velocity and show where the winds are behaving in this right there. And you bet, possible tornado here just crossed over 385. We're getting some reports here of some damage that crossed over the interstate, debris in the air, and we've also got that showing up now on Live Super Doppler 4 HD. So this rotation here, again, about 3 miles southeast of Fountain Inn, showing signs of a dangerous situation. That flare up right there. Let's look at our debris and see if we see debris on this. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. That is right there with that activity. Let's see if we can back it up just a little bit here and see if it's giving us anything. Sometimes this tool is helpful and sometimes it's rain block, so it really doesn't help in some instances, but I'm not able to diagnose any damage on the Doppler right now. Doesn't mean that it didn't happen, because we're getting reports of that now from some reliable storm spotters, and I'm seeing on the radar here that we've got some significant rotation. In fact, let's go back to that rotation here that's between Fountain Inn and Gray Court right there, and it's some tight rotation too, which gives me some concern. So zooming in right here to street level, we'll just show you exactly where it's out and then pull back out and show you where it's going. So there's 385 right here, and we've had reports that damage and debris flying in the air went over 385 and is now approaching Spartanburg County. So right there is where that possible rotation is, again, south and east of Fountain Inn. We'll pull out here and give you a couple of storm tracks here. First of all, let's give it to you a big storm track, because I want you in your safe place right now and more in Spartanburg. So we'll storm track this area right here out a little ways as it kind of moves on up through Woodruff and about to cross into the Spartanburg County line. So Cashville, Dillard Crossroads, Reedville Elementary School, Fairmont 630. So all areas that are in the path of this possible tornado. And again, we've got storm spotters reporting to us that we've had damage and debris rolling across 385, and I saw that right on Live Super Doppler 4 HD with that radar at the same time. So, you know, you have to sometimes take storm spotter reports for what they're worth until you can verify it. But because that storm spotter report came in at the exact same time that I saw Live Super Doppler 4 HD indicating that intense rotation, unfortunately, I believe it. And what we're seeing here is this is moving towards Spartanburg. So a possible tornado on the ground about to cross into Spartanburg County from Lawrence Road. So let's pull out just a bit and kind of give you an idea in Spartanburg where this is going to go and into your neck of the woods. So there's where that rotation is and possible tornado. And again, Spartanburg, you're right in the path of this. So putting a fresh track on it here, it would be in Cashville at 623, Fairmont at about 634, Saxon by 645, and then Boiling Springs by 649. Now, Storm Tracker has it going just west of downtown Spartanburg, but boy, it's going to be close. Hey, good news for Greenville County. At least downtown Greenville points through Greer, Tigerville, and Taylors. You are no longer under a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning. That's great news here for you. The only storm in the ball game right now is this one across Fountain Inn and then farther south. Let's check in with Greenwood County just to make sure things are behaving down there, as we've seen this tornado warning across Troy, and a new one here, yep, just issued for Lawrence County. So we've seen this rotation. I was watching it a moment ago on our other monitor, not seeing a stronger rotation, but let's analyze that here and we'll get to this new storm that's flaring up. Again, not as much rotation out of this in Greenwood County, but it's one we'll watch. But right here, unfortunately, another storm rotating with a possible tornado located 10 miles south of downtown Lawrence. Again, it's all around you in Lawrence. We talked about this in Greenville County. How can it be be everywhere. Well, it is, unfortunately. This is a line that is at times showing signs of rotation. It flares up and then it dies back down, but it can give you a tornado. It may be a 35 to 45 second tornado, but it can certainly do that. Cross Hill lifting north towards you folks in Clinton. So let's put a track on this activity that's across Cross Hill. And once you're in your safe place in Lawrence and in Clinton, this is moving up towards your neck of the woods here. So Mountville, Lawrence County Airport at 6:32, Goodwin's Crossroads at 6:35, and then Tylersville at 6:39. That's where we're seeing the most significant rotation there. And then we've got that line that's moving into parts of Spartanburg County. And again, this is still showing the strongest rotation that we've seen. And unfortunately, we've heard of some debris moving across 385. Please let us know what you've seen. Hopefully everybody's okay. And you can see tree limbs and leaves as debris. It doesn't mean that it's knocking down trees, okay? Like a strong thunderstorm. Think of it like that. It can certainly cause damage, and unfortunately, it looks like a dangerous tornado right now. That bright green indicating to me that I've got winds going toward the radar, the red going away from the radar, so that rotation is still very tight, very pronounced, and it's moving out of Lawrence County into Spartanburg County. So this new tornado warning right here does include downtown Spartanburg. As we put a loop on this and track it out toward the north here, it's moving toward the north at about 30 to 40 miles per hour. So Cook's Crossroads, fresh track for you in Cashville, 625. Shandle at about 6:27, and then Reedville at about 6:31. So please get to your safe spot right there. You need to be seeking shelter and getting to somewhere into an interior part of your home. That rotation is still very strong, and it crossed a very busy part of 385 at a very busy time of day, unfortunately. And again, going into Spartanburg County right there. So let's zoom out a bit. We'll show you this main line using live Super Doppler 4 HD as it continues to roll on through the area. This broken line has caused us some trouble today. It looks like a newly issued tornado warning here for this cell. Still enough rotation out of this. It is capable of producing a tornado, brief in nature, touchdown, then back up across parts of Greenwood County. This goes until 6:45. The warning because of this going at about 20 miles per hour near Cokesbury and Lawrence. Again, seeing some rotation south of uptown Greenwood. And then this activity near Cross Hill moving up through Lawrence and then into Spartanburg and now Union County. You are under a tornado warning for multiple rotating areas that we need to watch right in here. So we've got 3 tornado warnings across the upstate at this time. I know you're watching and you're saying, okay, what's it like for here? If you're in Greenville, you're safe. You're safe to go out. You can do so carefully. The line right here is crossing the 385 corridor. Let's turn on live Super Doppler 4 HD. So if your travels take you south toward Lawrence County, you're kind of going in on the back edge of this storm. Let it ride on out, and then 385 will be open for business, and you can travel about there. But I don't want you traveling on 385 right now in this warning, because that's where we've seen some rotation and multiple rounds of that rotation. So Fountain Inn right here near 385, we've had reports of debris from some storm spotters going across the highway, the interstate there, all right? And now it sits as it approaches Spartanburg County. So there's uptown Greenwood. We've got that rotation there. That warning continues until 6:45, and that's pushing up toward the north and east towards you folks in Waterloo and Lawrence. Watching that for you. 3 tornado warnings in this small area. So let's map it out here for you, starting with the one in Greenwood. Coronacre, 6:23, knocking on the door in Waterloo by 6:32. I want you in your safe spot in Cold Point at 6:38, and then downtown Lawrence, you're under the gun again at 6:46. Again, it's been on either side of you over the past hour. This one's coming right toward downtown, so you need to be in your safe spot right there. All right, this line right here, we got this one right here as well. So both of these kind of multiple areas of warnings right here. As we look at our rotation, let's kind of isolate just the wind shear right now and show you where we're talking about. Thank you, Sydney, for mapping that out. And still, this looks like the strongest storm right now that we have. And again, we've got 2 confirmations here that tell me this is such a dangerous situation. Fire department first reporting the funnel cloud in Hickory Tavern, and then shortly thereafter we had reports of debris in the sky crossing 385 near Fountain Inn. So that tells me this is very likely a tornado near Cook's Crossroads, and it's about to cross into Spartanburg County. There's Crescent, there's Woodruff, and there's more. So let's show you where this is heading right here. We'll go close to home first as it crosses into Spartanburg County. And then we'll zoom out a little bit. So New Liberty Church, Cedar Grove Church, Crescent, and then Bellevue Baptist Church, all within the next 10 minutes. It's moving quickly, folks, about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So let's pull out a little bit and go into southern Spartanburg County. So there's the rotation. It's moving into Spartanburg County. So let's give you a better idea in Spartanburg when this is going to be moving into your neck of the woods. Again, it's moving northeast at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. So New Liberty Church, Dillard Crossroads, Fairmont, Virginia College at about 645. A very feisty line. Let's look at our rotation, our wind speeds to see how they're behaving across the area. And you bet, we've still got some very strong rotation indicated by Doppler 4 HD giving us that instant look at where the rotation is, and we're likely dealing with a tornado on the ground in Lawrence County pushing into Spartanburg County. We've had reports of damage over 385. We've reports of a funnel cloud just before that. So this is very likely a tornado moving on the ground into Spartanburg County and Crescent. I need you in your safe place right now. I get to an interior part of your home. The most dangerous aspects of these tropical tornadoes, the flying debris, whether it be a tree limb, some kind of outdoor item. It can be a debris that can hit you or your house, and you want to be far away from that as possible. So that's why we tell you, don't be near a window, don't be near the most outer part of your home. You need to be as many walls between you and that outdoor activity as possible. So there's a strong rotation that we still have across the area. There's Freight 18. It's about to cross into Spartanburg County as live Super Doppler 4 HD gives us that instant look. Let's show you live Super Doppler 4 HD. And again, like we saw from our sky cams earlier, this is not something you want to be dealing with across the area with regard to going out and trying to see anything. You won't see it. In fact, we've got rain-wrapped activity going into our area. And let me show you some of our sky cams as we have across our area, as we're watching it very closely here across parts of Lawrence County, Greenville County. There's our Lawrence sky cam, as you can see. And again, this is the view from downtown Lawrence. You're in that warning right now, and I need you to be in your safe place. Looks like some folks in downtown are out and about right now. Get on the horn, give those folks a call, tell them to get indoors because you're under a tornado warning right now. Though the rain is not happening right now in downtown Lawrence, or at least it's light, you've got a cell to your south in Greenwood County that's rotating, okay? So please, in downtown Greenwood, take this serious. I've got the possibility of a tornado right there. Two lines, in fact, rotating as we go down toward uptown Greenwood. We'll start to the south and work our way back up. This cell in Greenwood still rotating. Look at our wind speeds here. We can show you where it's rotating. Still some signs near uptown Greenwood, and that's moving toward the north. Then you've got this activity in Cross Hill that's approaching downtown Lawrence, which is why if you're in downtown Lawrence right now out to dinner, or you know families or friends that are, call them right now. They need to be getting indoors as this storm bears down. So New China Church, Lawrence County Airport, Sandy Springs United Methodist Church, and then Tylersville by 642. We've got a newly issued tornado warning here that does now include Spartanburg County, kind of just honing in on the areas that we're most concerned about. There's that rotation. And again, this appears to be the strongest rotation that we have right now, and that is approaching downtown Spartanburg. Right there's that rotation as it's about to cross into Crescent, into Spartanburg County, pushing toward 101 into Spartanburg County right there. So let's get a track on this right here. We need to watch this very closely as it moves up toward the north. And again, this has at times been a tornado on the ground. We're very sure of it because of the debris and the different reports that we've been getting. It doesn't mean that it's going to stay on the ground the entire time. With these tropical tornadoes, they touch down, then they lift back up, okay? But I would rather you be prepared than not. So Cashville 638, Reedville 634, Fairmont 638, and then Arcadia Heights at about 646. Right there is the danger and where we need to be watching this very, very closely, okay? It's been a long day, folks. I know the buses are back operational in Greenville County. Your kids are going to get home, but boy, what a long day it's been. It's back to school. Fortunately, the threat is not over with. We've got this active tornado warning, and still, as we take everything off the map except for the rotation, we're still seeing that rotation very strong right here in Lawrence County. It doesn't mean that it's a tornado on the ground, but it very well could be. Anytime you see this blue or even bright blues right in here, that means that we've got the rotation strong enough to give us a tornado. So I need you in your safe place there in Crescent, in Dillard Crossroads, Schweitzer, even West Woodruff. I need you in your safe place. That goes on up toward more as this activity is pushing north at about 40 miles per hour. We need to watch this closely here for you folks as we're watching this rotation. Putting a track on it here as Sydney advances it out toward Dillard's Crossroads. As we see this activity push on through here, it's really giving us that threat here as we move on toward the area here. And that warning is in place until 6:45. So Cashville 628, Bellevue Baptist Church 628, and then Crescent. So crossing across the Spartanburg County line as we speak right now. So please give us a shout if you've seen the damage. If you can safely do so, please let us know what you've seen. It helps us get that information out to families that could be in the path of this. We still got rotation in Gray Court from that other cell, and that is still moving toward the north as well. And just like in Greenville County, you can have multiple areas that are under the gun for rotation. It's not like springtime situations where you have one singular tornado we're watching. With a line like this, you can have different areas that can bow out and give us possible tornadoes. So there's Gray Court. Farther south into Greenwood County, we've seen some rotation flare up just south of the lake right here, and we're watching that because you too are still under a tornado warning. But good news in uptown Greenwood, I'm not seeing as much rotation anymore. In fact, the strongest rotation you see right now is crossing into Spartanburg County. So I need you to be in your safe place. You see that blue right there. We don't see too much of it on the board right now, but it's still happening right now across Woodruff. Let's get back to live Super Doppler 4HD, and I can show you that line and where it's at. Hey, Greenville, you're clear. Hey, Simpsonville, you're clear. Malden, I know you're cleaning up after the tornado touchdown earlier. There are no storms around you right now. You're safe to do so, okay? And we'll check back in with some of our crews here as we can, because we've got damage from earlier tornadoes, very likely in Greenville and Malden and Simpsonville. And now the threat lies for Spartanburg County, Lawrence County, down toward Greenwood County. And any one of these cells at times has been fluctuating up and giving us rotation and then dying back down. So here in Spartanburg County, we've got this active tornado warning, and I want to start from really the line and advance this up toward the north, because I want you on guard in uptown, or I should say downtown Spartanburg, over toward Chesney, because that's where this storm is going. Lake Bowen eastbound. I think Lyman, you're in the storm right now. It's not tornadic, thankfully. I think you're just west of the activity right now. So Dillard Crossroads, Fairmont, Welford by 644, Bowling Springs by about 657. So just east of Lake Bowen would be where this potential rotation would go. And at one time, that was very strong rotation. Not seeing it as strong as it once was. But again, this line that's moving through the area right now can flare up and give us some rotation at any given time and then die back down. That's, in my opinion, somewhat of a danger, because you can let your guard down sometimes whenever that rotation dies down, but don't, because a few scans later, you can get rotation. And there have, in fact, been in tropical situations like this where you have a storm or a depression over you. A tornado lasts 35 to 45 seconds. Yeah, how about that? That's something that can happen there. So Gray Court down toward the south into uptown Greenwood, watching this very, very closely. So Enoree, Lawrence, Clinton, you're still in the path of this storm right here. And that little squiggle right there is one to watch, as well as the one in uptown Greenwood. This warning goes for a little bit longer. I expect the one in Greenwood to probably drop off soon, as I'm not seeing much in the way of rotation. Sydney, are you seeing anything out of this in uptown Greenwood? It looks like a little bit still, maybe enough to keep the warning. And that's just east of uptown Greenwood, heading toward 221. That has been an area that's seen it flare up and then flare back down from time to time, and still got this rotation, that bright green showing up just north of Mountville. Again, that's going very close to uptown Lawrence. In fact, let's check in with downtown Lawrence on our camera right there. We can see what's happening in downtown, because that tornadic cell is very close to downtown Lawrence. Folks are still out driving around right there. Please get into a steady structure. You can see the winds picking up with the trees right there, but right now, no rain in downtown Greenwood or in Lawrence. It's very close to you, but not happening right now. Let's get back to live Super Doppler 4HD. We'll show you what's happening with that cell. It's kind of on either side of you in Lawrence. Please seek shelter there. And in Spartanburg County, we've got this line. And in fact, this is the strongest one across the area. You're fine now in Greenville. You can go back to cleaning up in Malden and Simpsonville and downtown Greenville. You're fine to move about town. And in fact, the buses are still moving about. Getting kids home, getting families home safely right now, as we've had a very long day of storm tracking. Spartanburg, you're under the gun for this tornado warning, and the possibility that it is moving toward Spartanburg and more, moving northeast at now 45 miles per hour. So it's booking it. So let's take a closer look at where that rotation is as we get a new scan in here that's going to give us a fresh look. GSP radar first, as well as our radar. There's that rotation near Moore, and we need to watch this closely here. All right, getting a dangerous situation. I want to tell you here in Henderson County, pushing toward Polk County near Lake Lure and Bat Cave. The water, we talked about this earlier, you've been under multiple severe thunderstorm warning. and tornado warnings. The rainfall here across Bat Cave has caused the floodwaters to approach homes there in Bat Cave. That's a dangerous situation there, as the Rocky Broad River extremely volatile in this type of situation. So landslides and flooding, a situation right there. But we're getting word here that floodwaters are approaching homes right now in the Bat Cave area of Henderson, going into Polk and Rutherford County, just south right there in Lake Lewis. Really going to watch that closely for you. So back to the tornado threat. We've got that moving through Moore right now, and that's moving towards Spartanburg. So a fresh track on this. The tornado part is right here and moving up toward the north. So let's give a track for you folks anywhere in this path that could see this line flare up and then see that rotation move on through. So for Fairmont, Roebuck, Valley Falls, and Boiling Springs, all within the next 20 minutes, this cell could be overhead of you. And we're going to watch that closely, because anywhere on this line could begin to flare up. Let's put this in motion as we see this line move on through, because it's moving quickly. 45 miles per hour, the storm motion out of this as it quickly rotates around. This is the innermost line from Fred's core, and it's still intact. It's still a tropical depression that's packing a punch across the area right now, and this line is the last of the threats. As it crosses through Cherokee and Union County, we'll be able to sound the all clear across the area and breathe a big sigh of relief, because the rest of the week we're talking about just a summertime pattern. Pop-up storms and 90 degrees. We can take that, right? Say goodbye to the tropical aspects. But anytime a landfalling tropical system moves just to our west, as Fred is doing right now, this very situation is possible. Tremendous rain and unfortunately multiple tornadoes. So uptown Greenwood through Lawrence into Spartanburg, there are 3 active tornado warnings on the board right now. Let's start with uptown Greenwood right now and show you that warning. How long does that go until Sydney here? Let's take a closer look at this one in Greenwood, that county. That goes for another 15 minutes or so, as it's about to cross the lake right now. That has shown signs of really being quite tame, but also flaring back up. Let's take a look at the rotation with that right now and see what we're looking with and dealing with across Lake Greenwood right now, because that is a dangerous situation in of itself, because we've seen multiple lines move on through, but still a little bit of rotation right there. Need to watch that as it moves on into parts of Lawrence County. So an active tornado warning there until 6:45. Cross Hill, 221. You're all on the path of this rotating thunderstorm that is indeed about to go over the northern side of Lake Greenwood right now. We've also got this cell in Lawrence County, in between Lawrence and Clinton. This separate from the one that we had reports of damage and debris in the sky up toward Fountain Inn. This is a separate cell that's rotating between Lawrence and Clinton right there. You need to be in your safe spot in extreme southern parts of Spartanburg County, Erie southbound, and also this does include you folks in Union County, although I think the worst of it's going to scoot into Spartanburg County. So Lawrence County Airport, the Sandy Springs United Methodist Church, Tylersville, and then Pisgah Church there at about 6:46. Still the strongest storm in town is over Spartanburg County. That's where we've seen the strongest rotation up toward the north right here, and that's where we're watching this very closely here for Spartanburg. Let's turn on just our wind shear product, which isolates where that rotation is, and right there over Woodruff, approaching Moore. So let's put a track on this activity, and in fact, let's put a loop on it so we can see where it's moving, more toward Reedville or more towards Spartanburg. That's kind of what I want to find out here with this, is it's quickly moving off toward, it looks like it's going to split the difference and go right in between. So between Reedville, basically paralleling 290 right here. Let's put a track on this as it moves up toward the north and very likely gets into the outskirts of downtown Spartanburg. May not get into downtown, but it's going to be very, very close here. So over the next 15 minutes or so, Green Pond Baptist, Dillard Crossroads, Fairmont, and then Pleasant Fall School. If it does hold together, let's give you a track here in Spartanburg downtown to show you where it's at right now and where it might be into downtown Spartanburg if it gets into the outskirts of town. We're talking probably within the next 20 minutes or so heading toward downtown Spartanburg and points in between there. So Anderson Mill Elementary School, Arcadia Heights, 649, and around downtown at that same point heading into North Grove Medical Park and then Valley Falls at about 6:55. And again, this is all part of a bigger picture here. Let's show you where we sit right now with Fred, because the core of the storm pushing through our area. And as I show you, the whole There's the rotation. The only and really the strongest rotation sits right now across Spartanburg County. And this line is the last line that feeds into Fred, and it has tropical connections. We'll start here with the core, which sits across extreme western North Carolina. Yes, we'll watch out for these storms back toward the south, but they're tame. I'm more concerned with this line right here that goes from Augusta up through Greenville and basically has tornado threats along the line. But as we pull all the way out across the southeast, I want to show you, if you play connect the dots all the way with this line, it has tropical connections all the way down toward the Gulf. And that's the danger with this line, is that as tropical moisture funnels up from that line right here, which if you play connect the dots goes all the way to Panama City, all right? That's where the same line goes. And that just feeds that tropical moisture, a conveyor belt, if you will, right into our area. And you always have to look out for these last lines during tropical situations like that. They're always rotating around the core of that system. So we have multiple tornado threats across our area. We're getting reports in. Our crews have been on the scene as safe as we can in Greenville and Malden and in Simpsonville. And as we're able to gather news, we're going to show it to you because we've had damage likely from a tornado in Greenville, Malden, and in Simpsonville. Now that same line is pushing into Spartanburg County, Lawrence County, Union and Cherokee County, and uptown Greenwood County. That's where the most volatile weather is right now. And in fact, in Spartanburg, that's where we've seen the most rotation that moved out of Lawrence. We had reports of debris flying around in the air as it crossed over 385 just southeast of Fountain Inn right there. And that's where the storm sits, just southeast of Lyman, near Moore, pushing up toward the north. And that's where the most dangerous rotation sits right now. And if that continues, it will be heading toward those areas, okay? So watching that closely here. So yes, possible tornado crossed over 385 in Fountain Inn. That same cell sits right there. Right there near I-26, and it's approaching downtown Spartanburg right there. So just kind of an overview of the upstate right now. We've got this activity moving on through from Lyman, from Polk County, pushing on down toward the south, and we've got this activity that's continuing to push into these areas in parts of Greenwood County, Lawrence County, up through Spartanburg. And this line right here is kind of the one that we need to watch in the near term. Yes, we could get a brief spin up or a strong storm later on this evening, but this really, to me, is the end of the threat, okay? We're going to watch that very closely there as we monitor the situation for Spartanburg southbound. So this warning right here for Spartanburg County goes until 6:45. Thankfully, as we isolate just the wind shear here, it's not as strong as it once was. You see the darker blues in here. That's something we need to watch, but I'm seeing more spotty areas of it and not as widespread or as strong as we once saw. So still something we need to watch. Still some rotation across Spartanburg County, but not as volatile as it once was. But I need you in your safe place in Spartanburg and more points westbound. And then farther south, as we look at this, tracking it into Spartanburg, Fairmont Heights, Arcadia Heights, Lone Oak Elementary School, and then Boiling Springs by 7 o'clock. These are the areas we need to watch closely for this, because as it moves north and northeastbound, yikes, yeah, it's packing a punch as it moves on through, and we've had reports of it causing some damage there across the 385 corridor. Farther south into Lawrence County, again, we've got spotty areas of rotation, just not seeing it as strong as it once was. Very, very close right there in Lawrence and in Clinton, and I-26 corridors right there. So we need to watch that as it moves on through the area. But right now, that rotation across Spartanburg County is the strongest, and thankfully that's beginning to die down just a bit. So as we turn on live Super Doppler 4HD, we'll show you the areas we have. 3 tornado warnings, one in Spartanburg County, one in Lawrence County, and one in uptown Greenwood. Really, that one in Greenwood is cleared of uptown, and it's over the lake crossing into Lawrence County at this point. So a little bit of rotation still showing up in that area, but as you go up toward Lawrence into Spartanburg County, this is where that line sits and is the most feisty at the moment. So active tornado warnings near Dorman High School, pushing farther south. This line right here has been what's responsible for the feisty weather over the past hour. This really ramped up about 5:15 or so and just hasn't let up since it's moved on through. Greer, you're clear. Greenville, Simpsonville, Malden, all clear from severe weather right now. So certainly some good news there as we keep getting reports in from our phone right now, watching this as it moves on through the area. Pulling back toward the west here, we've got the rain and more wrapping around from this into Toccoa and Walhalla and parts of Hendersonville. You've seen some rain. Things are looking a bit more calm now. And in fact, as we look out from some of our sky cams, we can look at Lawrence right now. I want to show you what it's doing there in Lawrence because we've seen the storms in and around town. Again, low clouds. We've got the wind right there. I don't think I see anybody outside anymore, which is good. Oh, there's the car moving around. We just want you to be careful, folks. You are currently under a tornado warning in Lawrence. We just want you to be finding somewhere that's steady, a steady structure. Just hold down for another 15 minutes or so until this warning can clear your area. But the low clouds, this really illustrates the issue with tropical tornadoes. You get low clouds like this, and that just allows what would normally be mid-level rotation can easily touch down on the ground because it doesn't have far to go. Let's get back to live Super Doppler 4 HD here as we're looking at that Spartanburg toward Enoree toward Lawrence. This the dangerous situation, and in fact Lawrence is about to see some heavy rainfall. We'll be keeping an eye on that sky cam. I see it on some of our monitors here as we move into the next 15 minutes or so. And the rotation is still there. Watching it very closely here as it flares up and then it dies back down, but we've got that rotation still in and around Lawrence as that cell is moving just west of you there in downtown Lawrence. It may graze you, but it's very close. I need you to be taking that serious as we've got some bright spots showing up here, basically two, one right there and another right there. And just like in Greenville County, yes, we can get multiple areas of rotation in similar spots. Paris Mountain to Peace Center. We had two areas that were rotating right on our radar and right on our cameras. And right there in Waterloo, down toward uptown Greenwood, again, the warning continues here for another 3 minutes in Greenwood. We'll see if it continues across the area. I'm not seeing a stronger rotation. And in fact, right there, watching it closely here. So got a new tornado warning, this for Rutherford County. And this is part of the same line. Right in here, the northern side of Spartanburg County. So Boiling Springs, Lake Bowen, northern parts, there's Lyman Lake. As you go up toward the northern parts of Inman and Lyme to Boiling Springs, Lake Bowen, you're solidly in that threat for a possible tornado. An active tornado possible near Columbus or Lake Bowen. That's moving toward the north, okay? So right in here would be that moving toward Rutherford County. So Landrum, Fairview, Collinsville, and then Green Hill by about 7-11. Farther south, we've still got that tornado warning for a few more moments. We'll see if these two toward the south are able to drop off in parts of Spartanburg and in Lawrence and in Greenwood County. But as we pull all the way out right now, as it stands, we've got 4 active tornado warnings across the area, stretching from Rutherfordton down toward Lake Bowen into downtown Spartanburg through Lawrence and Union County and Greenwood County. So these areas down toward the south not showing as much signs of rotation, although it might be flaring back up here across Lawrence County. I see a bright spot there on the radar near Cross Hill. And at any given time, this line, until it crosses through, it's packing a punch, and it can rotate at any given time. At the very least, you're going to get some strong winds in Lawrence as it rolls on through, and that is heading toward Union. Spartanburg, we need you to be on guard. You've got tornadic activity all around you, and right now, that's where we're still seeing spritzes of some rotation right there with that main line that's heading towards Spartanburg. And they got that activity up toward Lake Bowen right in here that's pushing up toward the north near the lake and pushing into parts of Rutherford County there. Not as strong as we've seen, but certainly there, and something we need to watch very closely there. So Reedville, south toward Woodruff, near Moore, we're seeing that rotation, and again, it's whipping on around into the area here.
National Weather Service in Greenville, Spartanburg has issued a tornado warning for southeastern Rutherford County in western North Carolina, eastern Polk County in western North Carolina, northwestern Spartanburg County in upstate South Carolina until 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 6:41 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 9 miles southeast of Columbus, or near Lake Bowen, moving north at 30 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Rutherford and Spindale around 7:20 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this dangerous thunderstorm include Green Hill, Mill Spring, Green Creek, and Fingerville. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Please report damaging winds, hail, or flooding to the National Weather Service by calling toll-free 1-800-267-8101 or by posting on our Facebook page or Twitter using hashtag NWSGSP. Your message should describe the event and the specific location where it occurred. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued until 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for the following counties in North Carolina: Polk and Rutherford, and Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Live Super Doppler 4 HD as we're a moment away from some of these tornado warnings expiring. This warning in Spartanburg, Rutherford, and Polk County goes until 7:30 right here across the I-26 corridor. So we need you to be in your safe spot there in northern Spartanburg County near Lake Bowen along the I-26 corridor. You know where the lake, you cross over the lake I-26 right there on Lake Bowen. That's where that potential tornado is, and it's moving toward the north. So where the 26 connects with the lake, a beautiful area, but that's where we're seeing the potential tornado moving up toward the north very quickly into Polk County and Rutherford County. So you are under the gun again in Polk and Rutherford County. We need you to be seeking shelter right now. So as we look at that very closely here, it moves on toward the north. Watching that as we click the info button right there. There we go. This line is pushing up toward the north at about 45 miles per hour. Getting new information in here. We'll storm track this out as it moves on through. So there's Ingleside, there's Landrum, there's Woodland Park, and there's Tryon near the Equestrian Center and downtown by about 6:55. Let's pull out a little bit and show you where we stand with the warnings toward the south. This one here, let's put a query on this one to see how long this one's going to last here. This one may be the one that lasts until 7. That one across Greenwood and Lawrence County, that one will be continued until 7 o'clock. So 2 warnings at this moment. Not to say we won't have more in between here. So downtown Spartanburg, you're kind of in that middle ground. I don't want you to let your guard down. You don't necessarily need to stay in your hunkered down spot of your home, but I want you to have the TV up loud enough if you're eating dinner, trying to prepare dinner. I know you got school tomorrow. You got kids to get ready for bed. Go ahead and stay in your safe spot or near your safe spot, but hold tight with me, okay? Hold tight with me there. All right. Getting reports here, and the National Weather Service confirming after watching the video that was sent in to them of the storm spotter from Fountain Inn of a debris and possible tornado that crossed over 385. So it's very likely, and getting some more confirmation here, that we had a tornado that crossed over 385 just south of Fountain Inn at about 6:05. So very likely we had a tornado right there. And folks in the newsroom, if you want to check in with the National Weather Service, that storm spotter sent that in to them. So that may be on their social media pages. All right, Lawrence County down toward Cross Hill, watching that as it moves up toward the north. This warning right here for the activity we've seen in and around Lawrence County that is pushing up toward the north at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. And this has shown some signs of some rotation. So putting a track on this activity here as it moves up toward the north. And just like that, Spartanburg, you're back under the warning. I need you to go back to your safe place. So let me map this out. Lawrence 6.
National Weather Service in Greenville, Spartanburg has issued a tornado warning for central Spartanburg County in upstate South Carolina, northwestern Cherokee County in upstate South Carolina until 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 6:40 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 9 miles southwest of Spartanburg, or near Moore, north at 30 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Radar indicated rotation. Impact. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Spartanburg, Roebuck, Cedar Springs, Welford, and Cross State around 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. USC Upstate around 7:10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Boiling Springs, South Carolina, Lake Bowen and Cowpens around 7:20 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Chesney, Mayo and Cowpens National Battlefield around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this dangerous thunderstorm include Fingerville. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Please report damaging winds, hail, or flooding to the National Weather Service by calling toll-free 1-800-267-8101 or by posting on our Facebook page or tweet it using hashtag NWSGS. Your message should describe the event and
Clock, Enoree 7:05, West Springs at 7:20. So remember I told you in Spartanburg, stay close. Well, unfortunately, we do have another scan that just came in that is now indicating the possibility of a tornado near downtown Spartanburg. So this new warning goes until 7:30. This storm cell itself is moving at about 30 miles per hour. This particular cell that we're concerned about is about 9 miles southwest of downtown Spartanburg. So again, 9 miles south of downtown Spartanburg, we're watching this activity and the rotation that's with it. Maybe turn on our rotation here, we can see what's going on. Yeah, right in here. So just south of Spartanburg, this is going to get very close to you. So let's map this out. Brand new tornado warning that includes downtown Spartanburg. So again, folks, I know in Spartanburg, please hold with me for just a little bit longer. Please stay safe. You don't want to be taking this lightly. It's caused some damage, and a likely tornado that crossed over 385 is now moving through Spartanburg County. Fairmont, downtown Spartanburg by 7:01, Boiling Springs by 7:06, and then Cooley Springs by 7:15. I get it. You've had a busy day, but just hold tight. Stay away from windows. Don't be traveling. I know you may be out and about right now. Maybe you're watching us on your mobile device. Just stay put if you're in this. We still got some signatures here of some strong rotation in Spartanburg County that's moving northwestbound into downtown Spartanburg, and this needs to be watched very closely right here. All right, Greenville, we've had some damage. Our folks in and around town right there, safe right now. No concerns in Greenville County. You're able to go to and from where you need to in Greenville with no concerns for tornadoes. In Rutherford County, we've got an active tornado warning. This from the cell that's over Lake Bowen, pushing across the county line. It's now north and east of I-26. Right there is where that cell is, near Campobello, and it's moving toward the north. So let's put a track on this activity as it moves into Polk County and then eventually Rutherford County. Collinsville 6:55, Green Creek at 6:58, Green Hill at 7:12, and then Gilkey by about 7:18. That's where the most dangerous part of that cell is. And then again in Spartanburg, we're seeing it about 9 miles southwest of you, heading northeast towards you at about 30 miles per hour. So right there would sit the storm as it moves off toward the north. And we're seeing that little notch right in there, which could indicate this is trying to wrap back up just north of Woodruff right there. But here's where that cell would be. Let's storm track this for you as it heads into Spartanburg. Fairmont at 6:56, downtown Spartanburg by 7:05.
The National Weather Service in Greenville, Spartanburg has issued a tornado warning for Central Lawrence County in upstate South Carolina, South Central Spartanburg County in upstate South Carolina, Southwestern Union County in upstate South Carolina until 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 6:51 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 13 miles south of Lawrence or near Cross Hill, moving north at 35 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Clinton and Joanne around 7:10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this dangerous thunderstorm include Cross Keys, Sedalia, Enoree, Mount Hill, and Cross Acre. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Please report damaged winds, hail, or flooding to the National Weather Service by calling toll-free 1-800-267-8101 or by posting on our Facebook page or tweet it using hashtag NWSGSP. Your message should describe the event and the specific location where it occurred. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued until 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for the following counties in South Carolina: Lawrence, Spartanburg, and Union.
Mayo by about 7:19. I told you we'd check in with our Lawrence Skycam. Now seeing that storm over downtown Lawrence. Let's check back in there as we've seen that cell ramp back up. You are currently under a tornado warning, and that cell is right over you in downtown Spartanburg. So please get into a sturdy structure. Not seeing the wind on the trees right here. Just some good old-fashioned heavy rain. Watching this closely, and again, though it's volatile in the upper parts of the atmosphere, it may be calm at the surface, but that can change in a hurry. Ask the folks on Paris Mountain. Ask the folks in downtown Greenville. We saw that storm ramp up and then die back down in a hurry there. So heavy rain across Lawrence County right now. You are continuing to be in that warning. I want to take you to Spartanburg and Cherokee County, where a current tornado warning exists until 7:30. This does include you folks in Blacksburg points westbound and Gaffney. You are not included in this as we look at this very closely here. And Spartanburg points northbound. This is heading towards you. So as we track this activity, if it continues on its same path and lifting toward the north here, this tornadic cell or line, and again, it could be any part of this line that wants to try to ramp up, could move up toward the north and east right here. Again, Fairmont, same track at about 6:55. Spartanburg around 7 o'clock. Okay, go ahead and get to your safe place. You got about 5 minutes or so before the worst of that storm is bearing down on you. Boiling Springs by 7:09. 7:17 for Mayo. And again, 3 active tornado warnings sit right here across the area. And on top of this, folks, I don't want to discount the flash flood threat, because as I'm telling you, the tornado threat's over and you can go home, go to where you need to be. We've got active significant flooding approaching homes in areas like Bat Cave, Polk County, northwestern parts of the area. And there's where the active tornado watch sits right there. And that's the area you need to be concerned about. If you're west of there, you're fine. Things are clear. You can sleep easy tonight. There are no additional threats coming our way. So if you're trying to head to bed tonight, I'm not tracking any kind of nighttime threats as far as tornadoes are concerned. It's really right here along this line and eastbound. And we have 3 active tornado warnings right here. This one goes until 7 o'clock. And getting indications here, yep, they're redoing this one. Likely going to see that old one drop off for Lawrence, but a new one being redrawn right here because of this right here. And I'm seeing that active spin right there on Live Super Doppler 4 HD. That in southern Greenwood, or southern Lawrence County, just exited Greenwood. And that right there is possibly tornadic cell. And yeah, we've got that rotation right in there, and it's moving toward the north and east. Again, near Lawrence. Lawrence is big long county, okay? You've been under the gun for a while here. You've had multiple bullets pointed at you here. I hope we get out of this unscathed, but boy, this is rocking and rolling. Mountville 655, Clinton 707, Goodwin's Crossroads 711, Filson Crossroads by about 7:15. Need to watch this closely because that one has ramped up and it's kind of taken on a form that we need to watch here for you. Getting reports here in Buncombe County, okay, this from a storm spotter there near Biltmore Forest. Of course, as you know, Biltmore Forest, surrounding areas there in Asheville, southern Buncombe County. I want to keep you up to date on what we're talking about as far as the flood situation. Thankfully, the rain has slacked up, but neighbors' houses sit about 15 feet lower than some of those areas, badly flooded in and around Biltmore Forest. Impassable for 2-wheel drive vehicles. Just got creeks and streams spilling their banks up there in and around southern Buncombe County. So a real mess there. The Swannanoa and the French Broad causing big problems with flooding in and around Buncombe County. So thanks for that report right there. We need to watch that closely there as it moves on through. Right now, the tornado threat lies from Rutherford County through Spartanburg County, Cherokee County into Lawrence and Greenwood County, and a brand new warning just issued here just east of Lake Greenwood, pushing into Lawrence County. That one, the one we need to watch very closely here, is it's kind of taking on a life and a little bit of a notch right there with that bright spot showing up. We'll take a closer look at some of this activity and see if we're talking about any kind of significant rotation. Still got that rotation right in here. This warning goes until 7:30. Let's take a look at our debris field, see if we're seeing debris out of this. And right now, maybe a little bit, but not seeing enough debris to kind of raise red flags with that. So certainly some good news there as that moves into northeast, I should say eastern Lawrence County, moving up toward the north here. And again, if that continues, we need to put you guys on alert there in Spartanburg, Union, Cherokee County for another cell. And right here, this rotation in Spartanburg County showing forms of flaring back up. And again, that's what we've seen in Greenville County. It dies down, it flares back up. And here across 221, moving into Spartanburg County, approaching I-26, I want you to be in your safe spot right now. Got a dangerous situation unfolding here near Woodruff, heading up toward downtown Spartanburg. This spot right here that is just kind of really flaring back up, heading toward downtown Spartanburg, unfortunately. So Pleasant Falls School, Spartanburg Downtown Memorial, and then Saxon by about 7:03, and then Lone Oak by about 7:06. So that showing us some signs that it's rotating. Let's turn on live Super Doppler 4HD, and we'll show you what we're talking about right in here with this cell. Again, that bright spot right there as we take a close look at this decent structure right in here near Moore. Need to watch this because this could be a tornado, and of course any of these tornado warning storms could be a tornado, but really seeing some strong structure right here and some bright spots showing up on Doppler. Let's take a look at our debris across Spartanburg County, see if we're seeing anything that stands out. Nothing at the moment, but as we turn on our wind shear product, which basically takes off everything on the map except for the rotation, that bright blue, Tar Heel blue you see show up sometimes, that indicates to us strong deep level shear. That means not only here at the mid levels of the atmosphere, but even at the surface. So anytime you see that light blue, that's a strong structure and the possibility that we got a tornado on the ground. And this is from the same cell that reported a tornado over parts of Lawrence County and crossed over the 385 corridor. So as Sydney puts on a track for us, Haddon Crossroads 701, Saxon 705, Lone Oak by 707. And then the North Grove Medical Park by about 7:08. So all of these areas are really in the path of this potential tornado here as it rolls up toward the north very, very quickly here. So the I-26 corridor, you're in the near term very close to this rotation. Need to watch that closely because that could be another flare up of the tornado trying to touch back down on the ground. It's been an area that we've been watching since Greenwood as it passed by Fountain Inn, crossed over 385 as a possible tornado on the ground right there. We've got multiple reports of that, and then it crossed on over into Spartanburg County where it sits right now near Moore. We've got some strong rotation out of that. So 4 active tornado warnings across the area here, stretching from Rutherford County, Polk County, down into Spartanburg County with that cell near Moore, and then in and around Lawrence County, 2 cells right in here that continue to indicate some very strong rotation. Newberry County, Greenwood, eastern parts of Greenwood still seeing that storm, but nothing tornadic near Uptown. And in fact, Greenwood westbound, you're in the all clear. In fact, if you're watching us in Greenville, please be careful. We got flooded roads out there, but you can safely go about. There are no tornadic cells or tornadic threats across Greenville County. And really anywhere west of this line, sounding the all clear for the tornadic threat. You are fine right now anywhere in Greenville, Anderson, Pickens. I want you to be careful because we've had down trees. That could lead to some down power lines. And hey, the ground is so saturated. It would not take much wind to blow down some trees. So I want you to be careful in your commutes. I want you to be careful in your house tonight. If you live near some trees, you know, take note of the condition of those trees around your house tonight and just make sure that maybe you sleep on another side of the house until you can get out in the daylight tomorrow and just check things over whenever everything's all said and done with the storm. So here is Fred sitting across southwestern North Carolina, just spinning right here. And there's that active threat with multiple tornado warnings. We've been on the air with this particular cell that's been so dangerous since about 5:15, and this continues to be the threat here with multiple areas of flash flooding. And I don't want to discount flash flooding would take the headlines if this was not a tornadic threat right now. Very dangerous flooding in and on Asheville, Swannanoa River, on over toward the French Broad River, spilling their banks in many locations. Here are the active flash flood alerts that we have in place as Sydney puts them on. We've got creeks and streams actively spilling their banks from Pickens to Greenville to Spartanburg County, up through Polk, Henderson, Transylvania, into Buncombe County. These areas under the gun here for possible severe weather, and we need to watch this possible flooding as well. So that area all to be watched right there, with the possibility that this is rolling on through. And Sydney Sullivan's with me right now. And Sydney, we've been watching this Cora Fred. The good news as we move into the overnight hours is that this is pushing off toward the north and east, and our threat should be coming down pretty quickly.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to gradually see things die down at least a little bit, but as we still have a lot of this energy still pulling out from Fred ahead of the actual center of the system that's pushing on through, still going to see those active alerts possible. And taking a closer look here, still looking at the flash flood threat, still certainly going to be an issue. We've received a lot of rain over the last 24 hours. In particular, look at some of these areas that are highlighted in the pinks, the purples. We're looking at anywhere from 8 to 10 inches possible, some localized spots even more, and this is towards Tigersville into parts of North Carolina as well. We've had lots of reports of flooding, even into Brevard, just north of Brevard area. We're still looking at over 5 to even 7 inches of rainfall for these areas. So lots of rainfall over the last 24 hours. We're not completely done with the rain threat. However, we still are looking at that potential for strong to severe storms still continuing after some of these tornado warnings likely expire. But this is really the main line of storms that we're watching right now, stretching from Rutherford County through Spartanburg into Lawrence, and now starting to get out of Greenwood, which is some good news for us, but certainly something still to watch, as there's lots of indications of rotation with some of these. So as we flip on over with the rotation right now, one that's, well, there's a couple that are bringing my attention, but in particular this same cell that we continue to watch that's approaching the Spartanburg area here very quickly. Lots of indications of rotation with this. Put a track on it. You can see towards Saxton at 707, Boiling Springs 714, Mountain View 719. These are areas you want to make sure you are in the lowest level of your home. You are putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible, as we are still in an active tornado warning at this point. And it's still lots of rotation still indicated within some of these warnings as well. So we take a look a little bit further out as some of the other warnings are still in place, taking a little bit of a closer look down. Cross Hill area, there is indication of some weak rotation at this point. We will continue to monitor this. So we put a track on it towards the northeast here, Mount Presbyterian Church 701, Mountville 701, Clinton 713. So these are again areas that you want to take cover, get to the lowest level of your home as quickly as possible, as you are in a direct line of what is indicating some strong rotation within some of these cells. All right, so we're going to switch back on over to our live Super Doppler 4 HD here once it loads in. And Chris is going to kind of show us what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, these two areas, Sydney, just looking at them more closely off screen here, Spartanburg County right there, that continues to be the most serious situation across the areas. We've got that active rotation really tightening up there, where the green and red starts to brighten up and get flaring up a little bit. That indicates to us that that is possibly a tornado, and more and points northbound under the gun right now for that. And that bright red and bright green, as you were showing, Sydney, that's the most dangerous part right now, as it's pushing up the I-26 corridor. So that's the most dangerous part of it right now across Spartanburg and points around that, the I-26 corridor, pushing through downtown Spartanburg and moving north very, very quickly. So we need to watch that one closely there. Let's put a fresh storm track, as you just did a moment ago, For you folks there near Chesney and Spartanburg, this area, the most concerning area as it rolls on through. So downtown Spartanburg 707, Boiling Springs 713, Mayo 720, and then Chesney by about 726. So this area really rocking and rolling right now, and the potential that you could have a tornado near you or around you exists through about 7:30. So we want to let you know about that. Also, the cell we've been watching over Lake Bowen is now crossing into Polk County into North Carolina. So we want to let you folks know there in Spartanburg, especially in Lake Bowen area, that the threat is now pushing into Polk County, where we have that red and green meeting up right there. That's where the threat exists for Polk County, and pushing on into Rutherford County. That's where that cell lies, and these threats could at any given time give us the potential for a quick touchdown of a tornado here. So Green Creek, Rutherfordton, Gilkey, parts of Rutherford, those areas right in there could see tornadic activity by about 7:24. You know, some of these rural areas, the camps this time of the year, you got Jellystone up there. Please seek shelter right down in this area, Rutherford County, near Gilkey, near Bostic. This is all coming up toward the north quickly. We want you to be in your safe place there and be taking this threat seriously, as well as this right here. And again, this in Spartanburg continues to be the most dangerous cell that we're seeing here across Roebuck, Moore, and Spartanburg. Watching that as it moves on through the area. That rotation strong as we've seen here lately, and it's moving toward downtown Spartanburg right here. And again, putting a track on this closer in, we'll just go out just to Spartanburg here to give you some points of interest to help you pinpoint where we're watching that threat at. Haddon Crossroads, Arcadia Heights, and parts of Haines Station and Saxon until about 7:08. So watching that very closely right there. Those are the areas that continue to indicate the strongest rotation. Good news here for Lake Bowen. This cell that's been over you now clear of Spartanburg County. Not clear here, but here in Lake Bowen, Lyman and Inman, you are clear. Okay, that area is looking okay right now, but Spartanburg points northbound, really the issue right there with that. Points southbound, still watching that area in Lawrence County and parts of Joanna, and really watching that area in that location that could show signs of some rotation cropping back up right in here. So Joanna points westbound through Clinton. This area, as it moves toward the north, will give you a fresh storm track on it, because this is showing signs of continued rotation here for parts of Rockbridge Presbyterian Church, Bailey Memorial Hospital, parts of Clinton, and then the Doyle Infirmary right there at about 7:14. So this area under the gun for the strongest rotation at the moment, and we're continuing to monitor that situation farther south as well, as we have multiple tornado warnings across the area. We'll pull out and give you some perspective of where we're at right now with regard to the warnings in and around Spartanburg County, farther south toward Greenwood County. We've been watching you folks in uptown Greenwood, points east, as we've seen this activity kind of die down, thankfully, for Lake Greenwood. So no warnings in Greenwood County. In fact, the three warnings, I should say, on the board that we have. The one right here, we'll go ahead and show you this one. I think this one, Sydney, goes until 7 or 7:30 at this point. It's 7:30 at this point. There across parts of Greenwood County, as we're watching that move on through the area here with this particular cell, as Live Super Doppler 4HD shows this squiggly line. It's our concern. This warning here across Lawrence County goes until 7:30. The one north of there, I believe, goes until 7:30 as well. That one for Spartanburg and surrounding areas, as we watch this activity that rolls on through Spartanburg into northwestern Cherokee County, that goes until 7:30. And then this activity here, getting a better look at that. They just trimmed back the warning. So if you're in Moore, points southbound, Innery, you're now in the clear from that part of that warning. It's now a downtown Spartanburg north possibility for a tornado warning right here. And looking at the spin, this is right over downtown Spartanburg, so I want you to be seeking shelter right now. This rotation still is very strong, and it's approaching a very populated area of downtown Spartanburg, down 26, down WOEZL Boulevard. Watching this closely near the mall right now, that's where this rotation is the strongest. If you know that area is you go right past downtown Spartanburg on 26, that's where that rotation is the strongest right now, and pushing toward the north as we move on through these areas right here. So Arcadia Heights, Jesse Bobo Elementary, School, parts of Cunningham, Inman by about 719. So watching these areas right in here as this pushes quickly up toward the north. Chesney, Mayo, U2, and the path of this activity. Let's go up toward the north and check in with Polk and Rutherford County in North Carolina, because we've trimmed back that warning for the western parts of Spartanburg County. But we still have this activity in Rutherfordton, Green Creek, surrounding areas. You've got rotation strong right here. This is Highway 74 that connects Hendersonville, Polk County into parts of Charlotte, gives you a straight shot to Shelby. This activity right here moving toward Green Creek and about to approach Highway 74 and Highway 64, also an area that has seen a tremendous amount of rain today. So as we track this out, Sydney putting it on here, Green River Church 708, the Tryon Equestrian Center by about 711, Church 714, Crestview Park at about 718. So I'm really concerned about this area, Polk County as well. So let's take a big picture look at this, kind of reset and show you where we stand right here as we've been dealing with multiple hours of severe thunderstorms that have moved through the area with tornadic threats. Rain happening right now in the western parts of the area. I'm not as concerned, watching it closely, yes, but not as concerned with any tornadic activity there. It's this line from Rutherford County to Spartanburg County into parts of Lawrence County that we need to watch closely as this is moving off toward the north and east. Putting it in motion here, this is actually the last hurrah line, so to speak, of Fred that sits over the southwest mountains of North Carolina. This line stretches on down toward the south, and boy, it's packing a punch. It is going to continue to do so for points eastbound. Charlotte, areas along the I-77 corridor will get this action as we move forward. So if your travels take you that way, it's not going to get any better for a couple more hours in that direction. So Spartanburg County points southbound through Lawrence and Greenwood. Watching that. And let's start from Lawrence County, Greenwood, and kind of look at this cell right here. Now, this individual tornadic activity, it rolls on until 7:30. And looking at the velocity and the way the winds are behaving with this cell, it is giving us the threat right in there. That rotation exists across the I-26 corridor, and that rotation still present there from Joanna westbound. It is rotating right there from West Joanna and pushing up toward the north here. So there's Spartanburg County, there's Union County. It's going to ride right along that area there. So Bailey Memorial Hospital, Clinton, Goodwin's Crossroads, and Cross Keys by about 7:30. So those areas in the path of that, we need to watch that closely. Let's check in with the other tornado warning just north of there. As we go into Spartanburg County, this rotation north of Moore, approaching downtown Spartanburg, near the mall right there, watching that very closely as well from Spartanburg up through Boiling Springs. This rotation pushing up toward Chesney and Mayo, points of parts of Boiling Springs could see some of this activity. So downtown Spartanburg, any minute now is where it's at. Cherokee Springs by about 7:19, Mountain View by about 7:22, and then Chesney by about 7:29. These areas really in the concern right now for the potential of severe weather. And then back up through Polk County and Rutherford County, still got some broad level circulation. This warning too goes until 7:30 as this activity is pushing off toward the north and east. So Rutherfordton down through Green Creek, we've got this active area that is rotating right here, that's pushing up toward Rutherfordton. So the Tryon Equestrian Center by about 7:18 minute now. The Rutherford County Hospital system right there at about 7:21. Rutherfordton proper 7:22, and then Ruth by about 7:23. Needing to watch that closely right there as that happens. Let's check in back with the live Super Doppler 4 HD right now as we're looking at this line that really is packing a punch. We saw it roll through Greenville County. We saw it roll through Greer into Taylor's. Now it's over Spartanburg, pushing down toward Pauline. And we've got 3 active tornado warnings right here, and these continue until 7:30 for points of Lawrence up through Spartanburg into Rutherfordton. So, Sydney, we've been watching Fred here for a couple days now, and now that circulation is right over the southwest mountains of North Carolina, and we've got rainfall totals that are exceeding their banks, and that's the concern with this, is that if once the tornado threat comes to an end, we're going to have to watch out for that flood threat as well, because that's presenting itself to be a danger as well.
Absolutely, and you can see where Fred is right now. Remnants of Fred still bringing heavy amounts of rain across the area, and highlighted in green, that's where you can see those active flash flood warnings in place. So this is still going to produce a lot of rain, and this is over areas that have already received a lot of rain. And let's look at the rainfall totals. Now this is over the last 24 hours, but a lot of rain towards northern Pickens County into northern Greenville County as well. Look at the amount of rain we've received. Just towards the Tigerville area, we're looking at anywhere from 7 to 10 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. And due to the mountainous terrain near the area as well, this could produce not just localized flooding, but we're talking even that potential for mudslides across the area as well. Looking a little bit further west, Salem, Pickens, anywhere from around 4 or 5 inches or so. So we're not on the higher ends of things, but over towards Clayton, that's when we start to get towards 5 or more inches of rain. And just south of Waynesville, we're right in that higher rainfall totals as well. 5 to 10 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. And again, these flash flood warnings are still in place. Of course, this is in addition to our tornado warnings as well. So still going to see a major threat as far as heavy rain continuing to fall across the area. But as we take a closer look at the active tornado warnings, we'll start from the bottom here in Lawrence County. Looking at the rotation right now, still seeing some pretty good indications of some good rotation just to the northwest or northeast of Mountville, west of Joanna. And as it does continue pushing towards the north and northeast, we'll put a track on here and time out some of these cities that are likely in the direct path here. So Bailey Memorial Hospital 717, so just in a few minutes. Clinton 718. As we get towards the Musgrove Mill State Historic Site 729. So these are areas that you could be in the direct line of possible rotation indicated within our radar. So you need to seek shelter. Make sure you're in the lowest level of your home or building that you might be in. You need to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So those are the areas as we look into Lawrence County that really need to take shelter. But Spartanburg, let's take a look here. We've continued to see some pretty strong rotation. We'll say things appear to be a little bit better. So we look at our wind shear. This is another indication that takes off everything as far as all of the reds and greens and just looks at the rotation strictly for areas that are going to see it. Just west of Spartanburg, seeing that indication here. When we put a track on this, you can see that it's still pretty significant as it works to the north and northeast here. So Cleveland Junior High School 715. Again, this is any minute now. Berryfield 716. Reeves Memorial Baptist Church. If you are within the distance of these areas, definitely take shelter at the lowest level of home as rotation is indicated, and it appears to be fairly strong. However, it does look like it is weakening compared to where we were about 20-30 minutes ago. But now on the other side of Spartanburg, this is another indication of some possible rotation. Not seeing it as far as our wind shear levels, but as we look at our velocity, let's take a look and see what we're looking at here. Yeah, still seeing some weak rotation here. It looks like it is starting to improve. Might be seeing some rotation as we're a little bit further to the south of Boiling Springs, north of Valley Falls. This could be another area to watch. In fact, we'll put a track on this particular area pushing towards the northeast here. So Boiling Springs, any minute now, you need to seek shelter. You're near Cooley Springs as well by 725, another area to remain weather aware. Now, overall though, we look at the radar and the line of these storms within these warnings. We're still watching Polk County into Rutherfordton as still seeing some pretty strong indications of some rotation, at least at this point. Looks like it's weakening ever so slightly, but anytime we get red, green meeting together, that indicates an area to watch. So this area that's pushing out of Green Creek towards Rutherfordton, these are areas that need to seek shelter. Rutherfordton 723, Roof 725. Definitely want to make sure that you are remaining weather aware, get to the lowest level of your home, and place as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So as we flip back on our live Super Doppler 4 HD, again, these are the active alerts at this point, tornado warnings in place, all associated with this particular line of showers and storms. Now, the good news is, if we zoom out a little bit further, most of the activity begins to die down. It doesn't look like we are necessarily completely out of the threat, but a little bit further west, things are certainly settling down. We're just looking at some light rain towards Franklin, Cullowhee, approaching Pickens, and getting us into Hendersonville here soon. But again, these are areas that have already picked up quite a bit of rain over the last 24 hours. We saw a few spots that were pushing 10 inches of rain over the course of one day. So flash flooding still remains a threat, and we'll continue to monitor that. We have gotten reports of quite a bit of flooding just south of Asheville not too long ago, and I still foresee that continuing to be a concern. Now, it still looks like we are continuing the tornado warning for Lawrence and Spartanburg and Union County till 7:30. So no change there. That looks like that is still going to be a concern. Taking a closer look in here, see if we're seeing any other signatures as well. Still seeing a little bit of rotation right outside the Spartanburg area, likely near Boiling Springs as well, pushing towards the northeast, towards Mayo and Cowpen. So definitely want to keep that, keep monitoring that. And if you are in those areas, again, get to the lowest level of your home. If there is any way, do you think we could possibly pull up maybe one of our Lawrence or Spartanburg County cameras, see what we're seeing there? That would be great, because these are areas that are continuing to monitor some strong storms and some strong tornado warnings. And here's a look at our Lawrence camera here. You can see a little bit of sunshine trying to break through a little bit. And Lawrence is now in the clear as far as tornado threat goes. This is the city of Lawrence. The entire county still under a tornado warning at this point, but as you can see, things are definitely improving. And in fact, as we switch on back over to our radar right now, you can see that Lawrence actually is in the clear for the time being, but the actual county is still under a tornado warning for the next 15 minutes or so. So through 7:30, we are still under this warning and still continuing to monitor the conditions here. But overall, it still looks like Lawrence County into Spartanburg. Those are the main ones that we're continuing to watch, as well as this strong line of storms pushing into Rutherfordton as well. So still lots of activity and still lots of things to watch as this line of storms continues to push on through. Now, it looks like Chris is back, so he's going to take a closer look at this line of storms and kind of give us the latest track on what we can expect. Yes,
Cindy, we've been watching and just checking in with the folks in the newsroom. We are calling around. If you have damage in and around Greenville or Spartanburg from this line that moved on through, please let us know by calling our newsroom. Contact us via our webpage, WYFF4.com, or on our Facebook. We'd love to hear what you've seen. So far, so good in Moore and Point southwestbound. We saw that rotation really flare up, but so far we're not getting significant reports of damage. We're going to be watching that closely. But so far, I'm liking what we're seeing as far as the damage. But that does not mean the threat is over. This line is packing a punch as it rolls on through. So from Rutherfordton to Spartanburg, south toward Lawrence into Whitmire, this the concerning area. Let's start in Rutherford County here as this line now cleared Polk County. I think it's safe to say you're in the clear from anything right there. This warning in particular, I believe, goes until 7:30. Is that right, Sydney? right there across Rutherford County. Yep, 7:30 for that one. This is Rutherfordton, and it's moving up toward the north and east. Now, as we look at the rotation with this, it has shown signs of rotating and some tight rotation at that, but from time to time it's flared up and then back down. And right now, I'm just not seeing tight rotation, so I do expect that one to likely expire. If it tightens back up, of course, we'll let you know, but that one right there along Rutherfordton, my main concern, honestly, is flooding, because that's where the mountains go up there in Lake Lure, and we've got active flooding in and around Bat Cave. Now, farther south, as we look at the cell that's been in and around Spartanburg over downtown, it too has shown signs of flaring up with some strong rotation. I've got very gusty winds heading toward Mayo and Chesney and Calpins. I'm just not seeing tight circulation that would indicate a potential tornado on the ground. Now, as we look at our wind shear product, let's just analyze that to see as we take everything off. Yeah, I'm not seeing those little blips. You remember those blues we were showing you earlier? I'm not seeing those flaring back up, which is certainly some good news. Not as much rotation, and in fact, a little blip here across southern Spartanburg County could indicate a little bit of rotation, but as we turn on live Super Doppler 4 HD, I'll put my finger right there. I'm just not seeing a signature that looks like it's rotating. In fact, the main line is back towards Spartanburg, and certainly some gusty winds here along the I-85 corridor, and as it pushes off toward the east, just not seeing the rotating side of this. Maybe some strong straight line winds here, but at times this line has been wanting to try to extend out ahead of itself and give us some very strong winds that go 30, 40, 50 miles per hour. And when those parts of the line go out ahead of themselves, it can really mean you know, the potential for it to continue to rotate around and give us a possible tornado. Farther south, we're monitoring that situation. It's in Lawrence County, and again, Lawrence, we've been saying your name a lot today. Clinton, mainly Joanna, or Mountville, we're seeing this area really packing more of the punch of the potential for some heavy rainfall right here. As we look at the rotation inside of the storm, basically an x-ray of what's happening. Gusty winds certainly, but not seeing as much in the way of rotation. So certainly great news there, but we need to watch this closely as this whole line, as we turn on live Super Doppler 4 HD, that is moving through Union, up through Spartanburg County. This is crossing over towards you folks in Cherokee County. So Gaffney, Union, we haven't said your name a lot tonight, and that indeed may be what gives you a little bit more of a punch as this moves through, because you haven't seen as much persistent rain as our friends back toward the west in Greenville and surrounding areas have had. So Gaffney, Blacksburg, Union, Whitmire, as this line pushes up toward the north and east, it'll need to be watched. But as we turn on just our wind shear product, again, we're looking for those brighter blues to show up. I'm just not seeing it.
At Spectrum Business, we're so sure we offer the best value for business. We called our competitors to see if they could beat our 200 megabit internet and phone with no added taxes, no fees, and no contracts.
Thanks for calling.
These are their actual responses.
It's going to be a lot slower in comparison to Spectrum.
I would 100% go with Spectrum.
Hear that? Spectrum Business is hard to beat. With 200 megabit internet and advanced phone for $69.98 per month, all with no added phone taxes and fees.
How are they pulling a no fees and tax? That's madness.
Our tax may be a little bit high.
I'm going to be very honest with you. You're probably going to need to go with them.
Honestly, we couldn't say it better. Get 200 megabit internet and advanced phone for $69.98 per month with over 99.9% network reliability. Call 888-845-4828. That's 888-845-4828.
Through Union, looking pretty steady right now with this activity. As we look across the entire upstate and western North Carolina right now, our entire area just kind of sitting in that area where we need to watch these bands of rain back toward the west, but these are a lot more tame. We can handle this activity right here across the area, and really it's Rutherford County through Spartanburg County through Lawrence County and Greenwood. We need to watch a little bit more closely, because this has been the area that's been rotating from time to time tonight. So getting new reports here. And in the newsroom, we were looking at this same area a moment ago. So 5 miles northeast of Fountain Inn in Lawrence County, the 911 call center reporting multiple trees down with road blockages on Ritchie Road and Fountain Inn. That's Ritchie Road and Fountain Inn. For those of you in Fountain Inn reporting that, thank you for that. Again, seeing some damage in that same area where we had the funnel cloud, and the National Weather Service able to see some video from a storm spotter that just proved Yeah, that was likely a tornado that crossed over 385. And again, just because a tornado crosses 385 doesn't mean that it's lifting cars off the road or tearing down trees. It can be a weaker tornado and cause damage to be flying around in the sky, but not necessarily at the ground. So what a scary situation. But unfortunately, it does look like we do have some confirmed reports of some damage there. And if we turn on our storm reports, I'll show you that here across parts of Fountain Inn as it rolls on through the area here. And again, multiple reports of tornadic activity. A funnel cloud tornado possibly there as it moved out of Anderson County. Parts of Pickens County saw some as well. The tornado in Malden. And then this activity that moved right along the Lawrence County, Greenville County line. Reports of damage in these two locations of Lawrence County. And again, that's Fountain Inn near Ritchie Road. Currently blocked with trees in the road there in Fountain Inn. That's about 5 miles northeast of Fountain Inn right there near Ritchie Road. And again, this wind has been the big talk, but as we look at the storm totals as far as rain, whew, that's another big picture here that we need to talk about, because just in the past 24 hours, some parts of northern Greenville County going into Henderson County approaching 10 inches of rain. 10 inches. And this is apart from what we had yesterday before the storm system even got here. We had that front that brought us some rain. 8, 9 inches of rain back through northern Oconee County, southern Jackson County, Transylvania County. That's why we have active flood alerts in place right there. Let's get back to live Super Doppler 4 HD and show you where the warnings are right now. If you're living and if you're listening right now, watching us in Greenville, Anderson, or Abbeville, we're looking okay right now in those areas. But active tornado warnings from Rutherford to Spartanburg to Lawrence County. But what I'm seeing, what Sydney and I have been kind of analyzing with this, and Perella earlier, is that as the line is moving east, it leaves a path of more stable air. So I'm confident and comfortable with where we're at across a good portion of the area. But what I'm not comfortable with is what's happening right now in Spartanburg, Cherokee, and Union County. We need to watch this line closely. But right now, there's just nothing that jumps out to me as showing incredible rotation. So I think most of these warnings will be dropped right here in just a moment. A new flash flood warning exists for eastern Henderson County. This is active flooding right in here. And again, it goes back through Bat Cave, where we're getting reports of that water rising higher and higher, closer to some homes there in Bat Cave and Chimney Rock, an area that has been impacted by flooding. Growing up in Henderson County, there was one year we had more hurricane days from school than snow days. It can certainly happen. And looking at our active alerts across the area, we've got those tornado warnings that I expect to expire momentarily, and the active flood warnings and flash flood warnings that exist across Rutherford, Polk, and Henderson County. Right there as the mountains start to go up. We're talking over 12 inches of rain in some of these locations in the past 48 hours. That can cause some significant flooding. So the line right here is what I'll be watching, and just like that, the National Weather Service takes down our tornado warnings. I'm happy to say, but cautiously saying this with you, there are no active tornado warnings across our area for the first time in several hours. We've been watching this line as it moved on through, but hey, I want to let you know that could change. We're going to watch it closely here from Spartanburg up through Rutherford, Gaffney. Folks in Cherokee County, we're not going to just let this go through without watching it closely, okay? We need to watch it, because what's happened with this line is it flares back up momentarily. So with there not being any active tornado warnings, what we're going to do now is we're going to get to work for you. We're going to go in the newsroom here. We've got your reports of where the damage has been, and we're going to go do what we do and gather those reports for you and let you know. If you have a report for us, please let me know on our Facebook page. Send me an email, send our station an email, or pick up the phone and give us a call. We'd love to hear what's happened to your neighborhood if you can tell us safely. We want to let folks know what's happening here so that eastbound, where the storm has not gone through, for you folks in Gaffney and in Union, we can let you know what's happening in those areas. And we'll continue to keep you posted as conditions warrant. So for Sydney Sullivan and Perel Lewis and Cedric, we're going to send it back to regular scheduled programming right now. If we see something crop back up that appears to be dangerous, we'll be the first to let you know. Have a good night, folks.
Will be something that they can live with.
The American flag here is the last one, and that's only going to be